Welcome to our weekly show, Reverie Esports Open number 68. I'm your caster Effectivex, joined by my partner Octavian.
I'm here for some late night League of Legends. I think we had a record number of teams sign up this week, so that's why we're starting a little bit later than usual.
That's pretty close. I believe it was 35 teams signing up this week. That's quite a
Mm.
number.
Yeah, more than I've ever seen, at least in my time here. Reverie's an old standing fogey with the league, so no, pardon me. Effect is an old standing fogey with the league of Reverie, so perhaps you've seen more than me in the past. But
I don't think so. I mean, my memory fades out a little bit here and there because I'm old, but
we've got a free agent team facing off against, I believe, Team Frostborn, or is that the other side of the
that
semis?
is the other side of the semis. It is Team Gray Ice is on the blue side.
All right. So yes, it is Team Gray Ice against a free agent team, and free agent teams don't usually make it all the way through to the semifinals.
We've seen it
So
happen a
congrats to
couple
them.
of times, but it's very rare.
And usually when it does, they don't make it much further than that. But there's actually some player names that I recognize from previous Reverie tournaments. Most notably is Trevor Strong. Last time I saw him, I don't think he was on a free agent team, so I worry about what happened to his previous team. But he is a pretty darn solid top laner, and that may be part of the reason why they've made it this far. As usually without that cohesion that comes of being a unit that even has had just a little bit of practice, because some of these teams are pretty recently formed before Reverie tournaments, puts you at a disadvantage.
And we're seeing quite a few bans.
Six of them, in fact.
Some of them are unusual.
Yeah, Zyra's been coming more and more back into the meta, as has Lee Sin. Zed is a little bit odd. Garen, pardon me, in particular, is not exactly a meta ban. Other than that, though, everything I would say is like string one or string two picks. Lee Sin arguably like somewhere between
Lee
both
Sin's been making a
first,
pretty
second
big
tier.
comeback since
Yeah.
Worlds.
Yeah, the world's meta has been a little bit of an odd one. Support misfortune is not something I would have anticipated.
I wouldn't have anticipated either, and then I just saw several games in a row. And not only that, I saw it winning and doing very well. So,
Yeah, and I mean Samsung no less were the ones who pulled it out. But this is Reverie. This is Reverie, not Worlds. Not quite on the same sort of power level, but close. Close.
yeah.
Very close.
I'll give it to you.
Um, it will be a Graves first pick that's going to be matched off with most likely another jungle pick. I say most likely another jungle pick not because Zach going to the jungle is unlikely, but because Graves could go to a solo lane. And we're still waiting on Trevor Strong to pick up something for his team or perhaps for himself. The clock is timing out. There it is, the RE pickup. Going to be going over to Jamuk, and we'll see what the answer is.
And that is going to be an instant lock Katarina.
We're still waiting on that assassin update, so it is not the new and improved Katarina with all the fancy new mechanics. This is old school Cat, or relatively old school Cat. One minor rework, I think, so far has hit her kit, and that was a while ago. So
Yeah, it's been a little bit since then. It's not like Rise, where every other month there's a new update.
you can set your clock by it. Oh man, it's like it's like daylight savings time, but it it comes even more regularly. Oh, and when was the last rise we were? Okay. Well, I guess I should set the clock forward an hour. But it will be the Tom Kench locked in alongside that. I like Tom Kench next to a hyper carry like a Katarina, with a carry jungler as well. Like Tom Kench with carries is good. You want to be able to get your carries out of danger if necessary, and just generally be a good beefy frontline for him as well.
Absolutely. We don't see a whole bunch of him, but when we do see him, it's usually pretty well played.
We've been seeing more and more Tom Kench recently as support sort of gravitates away from being about range supports and allows these melee supports to come back into the meta.
Absolutely. We're seeing a Gangplank lock in, and this Caitlyn is being hovered on. Caitlyn, of course, wouldn't be too surprising. Super popular.
Yeah, especially against a Tom Kench, I like having just the massive range to be able to harass him out in lane. Now, to be fair, it still could technically be a Tom Kench jungle and a Grave Stop. I don't want to put that possibility completely out of our
Quinn.
minds. But, I mean, that's not too surprising with a player named Quinn
Quinn
Main.
Main. I just got it. I wouldn't even look at the name. I
Oh,
saw.
please. And it may very well be the Tom Kench jungle. I'm glad I brought that up because Sona's being hovered. And that would be a Graves top in that case, up against Gangplank most likely.
And Gangplank would make the most sense. Now they're looking at a Thresh. I'll give us some hook power.
Mhm. Some engage onto the Caitlyn here. I think engage is pretty darn useful in a lane where you're running with a Quinn. Karma gives a sort of soft engage and would also allow for some poke, and the support misfortune could
It'd be
be
interesting.
confusing as well. So confusing. Why is it a thing? I don't understand. And it's my damn job to understand.
But it
Oh,
is going to be a Karma support, most likely.
all right. So it's the Karma Quinn bottom lane. Quite a bit of damage packed into that punch. We'll see what the support pick is to go up against him.
Well, there are a number of picks that are open here.
Or I guess it could be a Karma Graves bot lane and a Quinn top. Like there's a lot of flexibility, surprisingly so, in this roster.
And they're going with the Blitzcrank.
All right.
That's not a
But
terrible pickup against, say,
I
a
don't know.
Katarina, but
Yeah, it's certainly solid there. 3 interrupts for her Death Lotus is really, really useful. So I do like that. It's just the lane might be a little bit rough if he because there's not a lot of synergy there between Caitlyn and Blitz. Caitlyn wants to keep them at arm's length, and Blitz wants to grab them with that arm. Um, but and Quinn wants to get all up in your grill space. So they could be in for a little bit of a rough time bottom lane if they don't play to their strengths, which are buried.
no, they'll have to see if they can get some setups for Zek ganks. If Blitz can land a decent hook, that definitely open up some possibilities there. And it's actually going to be a top lane Tom Kench, it looks like.
Oh, okay. And it's the Jungle Graves. I never even gave that a thought, but I
I
suppose Tom
kind
Kench
of
would
thought about it, but I was
top
like,
lane.
nah, that's not going to happen.
I yeah, I just don't consider Tom Kench to be quite as good a top laner as Graves is. But to be fair, Graves is a much better jungler than Tom Kench is. So I guess that is one of the alternatives they can go with. As it looks like we've got a bit of a spectator delay left to count down through.
As indeed the case. And on that, oh, worth noting here that Trevor Strong is going to be taking Exhaust into top lane, which is rather unusual.
Yeah, I mean he's very much a carry laner, and the Gangplank pick is going to play into that. He's got some global presence already with the GP ulti, so going exhaust just helps him cement the lane a bit more.
That is true. So this is definitely going to be an interesting game. We're seeing some unusual picks.
Also, they're going ignite on Blitzcrank to try and win that lane a little bit harder, and they want an exhaust against the Katarina, so they're going to be giving that exhaust to Trevor Strong instead. Um,
I see.
so that in team fights they can exhaust Katarina when she jumps in. So that could very well be more the reason for it than just that Gangplank wants it for the lane.
That does make sense. Okay, this is definitely looking forward to this because seeing lots of unusual picks coming out of the woodwork we don't usually see. You got the Katarina, you got the Blitzcrank, got the Tom Kench,
Mm-hmm.
the Quinn. I don't think I've ever seen a Quinn at Reverie before. So
Yeah, I don't think I have either in my shorter time here. But we do have a little bit of time to get through before we can get into the actual match and see how it plays out with all these oddball picks.
and before on that note, we are going to take this opportunity to take a small, tiny commercial break. And once we are in the game, we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere, guys.
I smoke too much. I drink too much. I tell myself that I can't stop. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now. That I can't stop. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now. drink too much. I tell myself that I can't stop. We could see clearly now. 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 Clearly now. Clearly now. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now.
And we're back. Currently waiting for the game to pick off here. All the
We may be the wrong choice of words as I'm still looking at a loading screen. Hopefully I have not crashed. Sometimes my game does take a little bit longer than others to load in.
well, currently they're just going right out of the gate here. Possibly, maybe free agent team wanting to do maybe a little invade. Possibly they do have the
Oh,
Blitzcrank.
all right. And I'm looking at a riff now. 36 seconds in.
36 seconds in.
All right, goody. We're looking at the same time. A little bit frustrating, but I don't think I missed too much. Just Ask is going to get caught out here. We'll see if the hook lands. He flashes preemptively. Oh, but a flash to follow. Jamuk is not giving up on the kill that easily, but the rest of his team is not exactly at his back.
If they had been ready for that, maybe something could have come of it. But he kind of went off on his own there.
And a demonstration of why free agent teams usually don't get this far. I suppose Just Ask did drink a potion, I guess.
And
So-
it is the case.
That's a permanent advantage over to Jamuk. Traded his flash for the 50 gold.
Alrighty then. So that was an interesting start. That does make sense. They did have the Blitzcrank, so they weren't ready for the possible invade from that. But that is basically 2 flashes down for both mid laners, so it was kind of wasted.
And that may call attention from the junglers. Particularly, I'd say Mush Monkey over Nekkaslay. Graves' early ganking is not quite as potent as a Zack's, but a Zack and Ari combo could be darn deadly for Katarina, who doesn't have nearly as much ability to avoid that sort of gank as some other laners might.
We'll have to see how well she can chumpo to different wards or minions to get away. I'm actually kind of interested to see the the Tom Kench top lane, because they don't see it too frequently.
That's true. And it is up against the Gangplank, and Trevor Strong's Gangplank. I've seen him play that before. He's pretty darn competent on the Pirate, so it could be a little bit of a challenge for Mega Unicorn. But he is a Mega Unicorn, so I anticipate great things.
Trying to get some acquired taste on there.
And Tom is a little bit of a better laner ever since the changes to his passive, particularly like where they moved around his passes, because he used to have on his ult extra magic damage based off his health as a passive, but that's just in his regular passive now. So he has that from level 1. And that makes his pre-6 dueling a lot more potent than it was before.
And I am actually looking forward to see how well Quinn main does on Quinn, because I've had friends who played Quinn really well up in High Master and Challenger, and they could just be monstrous once they got rolling.
True, and Quinn certainly is a bit of a powerhouse, as we see Mush Monkey showing up mid lane, like I thought he would, but not quite landing the slingshot. But usually she's a powerhouse out of a solo lane, most often top. You don't often see too many AD carry Quinns, and it's for the very reason that we're seeing this game where One Punch Mid is on Caitlyn and is just outranging the hell out of this pick.
That is true. Trevor Strong taking some damage there. He's actually behind in CS a little bit here, though he does have a nice big wave coming to the turret.
Yeah, he should be alright grabbing that. We'll see how he does CSing underneath the turret. As Mush Monkey's getting bullied back by Nekkaslay. This is the advantage of the Graves jungle. Can 1v1 pretty much any tank jungler. That includes a Zac. Trevor Strong has actually missed out on a good few CS into the turret, so pretty permanent lead now for Mega Unicorn 25. CS leads are somewhat deceptive sometimes. It depends on where the wave is. But with the wave crashing against the turret like that, that's 2 to 3 CS lead is not deceptive in the least.
And
Also not too significant, but hey.
game's going pretty slow so far. Nothing significant happening other than the CS leads and a couple of ganks we've seen.
Nemo's fishing for a hook there, but he really doesn't even have to. Just the pressure of him walking up is enough to allow One Punch Mid to continue to pull ahead. 10 CS up over his opponent.
And the threat of a good hook is pretty dangerous just all by itself, not actually having to use it.
That's the whole thing about Blitzcrank. The good Blitzcrank player understands it's a mind game. Bad Blitzcrank player just thinks he has to land the hooks. First, you must learn to land the hooks, then you must learn to not throw them after landing a hook or two, just to scare your opponents. And the flashes are almost available again for Just Ask and Jamoke. This has been such a quiet early game, despite that explosive level 1 fight where 2 flashes were burned. There really hasn't been anything that's come of it. Oh, a hook flies a little bit wide to the right.
And we're seeing possible gank here on the bottom side.
Yeah, Graves coming in for the first gank of the game, aside, I suppose, from Mush Monkey's attempt in the mid lane. But he's going to give up on that pretty quickly as he finds a cupcake shot up in the river.
It's like, those aren't real cupcakes.
Trevor Strong is going to get some great damage, actually, on a Mega Unicorn. Some of that will be regen from the Grey Health passive, though.
The question is, Trevor Strong is currently yes.
And this is even just with the Doran's Ring, which he started with the Mana Sustain, a pretty common start, actually, for Gangplanks, since you do spam that Q so frequently, especially against a melee opponent like Tom. So he's not even really got any real damage. The Charm lands even after Ask burns the Flash, and that's first blood for Jamook.
Ooh, Ask accidentally burning his own Ignite, too.
Yeah, a little bit of a wasted summoner choice, and that, or wasted summoner. And that's going to be a huge advantage, actually, to Jamook, who was already pulling ahead in the lane. Now is just going to snowball even further.
We'll have to see how well the team can recover. Katarina is one of those characters that it's really hard to win if you're really far behind. Ooh, Trevor might be in trouble here.
Yeah, he's going to drop the cannon fire. End of the line lands with the first proc, but not the second as a flash forward from Neck's Light, but the exhaust comes up huge for Trevor Strong. He gets out alive off the back of his strange summoner choice.
Barely keeping him alive. Ooh.
Speaking of summoners, there's a flash from Quinmane. Nice reflexes, but that is a summoner down.
It was good on Nemo to find that opportunity to get that hook there. Burning a flash is definitely worth it.
And Mush Monkey's focus in the mid lane, I mean, it's sort of paid off. Jamook is getting a decent advantage. The Foxfire follows, but it doesn't get the kill. A minion auto is going as well. It doesn't get the kill.
Now that's so close. You can barely see your health.
That was single-digit hit points. Twice.
That's got to be slightly terrifying.
And Jamook is going to push another wave under the turret. Just Ask had only just returned to the lane as well, so he's going to miss out even more CS. Now almost 20 behind. Things are getting out of hand pretty quickly for Katarina, and Katarina's the kind of pick where you need to snowball earlier on to have the kind of impact you want to have. Zach is now bottom side. And by Nemo is coming in. There's a flash from Icy Storm. The hook is still up, but it flies like a field goal between the enemies, and now can't find Nemo. Is almost about to get bound. He has to flash away. That goes kind of backwards for the free agent team.
Very unfortunate for them. That was definitely a field goal hook there.
Right between the two of them.
You can't hook both at once.
Sadly, no. Actually, happily, no. I'm glad Blitzcrank can't do that. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Blitzcrank is terror of the lower elos.
And we're seeing that Trevor has picked up his Sheen.
And a cold. Interestingly.
And wants to try and get more gold.
And I mean, it means that he's not like snowballing super hard right now, but he is going to get that like delayed power spike later on. It's just the nature of the item. And it's pretty darn strong for a Gangplank who's already getting a gold lead over his opponent through CS, already getting a gold lead over his opponent through Gangplank passive, and now Cole as well. He's just a walking bank, this guy.
Bank plank.
Yeah, it's Return of the Bankplank. Oh man, that is such an old meme.
Mm-hmm.
Gone vintage. Jamook lands a nice charm and a Necklace, walking in a straight line towards him. Well aimed.
No.
And that's going to be the end of that gank.
That does give a little more pressure for Ask, though. It does put him up higher health. So
But Jamook just has so much damage now. Even while he's on a health disadvantage, he's not at all afraid of Ask.
and he go ahead and just evens that health disadvantage up.
Man. That is the dream right there. Now Mush Monkey's coming in. The first elastic slingshot to land, but it is still a kill. And this time it goes over to the Zac, spreading the gold out a little.
Well, Just Ask is in a lot of trouble here. He might need to start looking to roam instead of staying in lane. Because I don't... He's going to have a really hard time beating out this Ahri.
And I mean, it's not like Jamook wouldn't want to roam as well. That's the problem. A Katarina that's losing a lane to like an Anivia or something can roam and just outmaneuver the Anivia on the map and maybe get some kills or assists in another lane. But against an Ahri, when you roam, if the Ahri's any good, you're just going to be followed, and then the Ahri will outperform you in that gank. So
That is
it's
true.
a really rough situation to be in.
Definitely not a character you want to be behind in.
He's returning once more to the mid lane, though. We'll see if he goes for that roaming strategy or if he sticks to the lane and just takes his punches. It's a dash for the wall from Necklace. They're going to go for another gank attempt on Trevor Strong. We'll see if he can slip his way out of this one. Drops down the ulti, heals up a little bit, but he goes for a short trip into the Tom Kench's gut, and Necklace is there with a few helpings of a bullet for him when he comes back out.
Too bad for Trevor. He did not have flash to get away from that. I'm actually not sure. Can the oranges... Oh my.
So Just Ask dies again.
Well, I can just ask the question I wanted to ask.
You know, there's the knockup on Icy Storm. The silences as well. The hook lands, and I was just about to say that there's one bright silver lining to Just Ask having nicely done, Quinn Main. I didn't even know you could do that.
I did know you could do that, actually.
That is so neat. He interrupted the elastic slingshot by vaulting off of it.
Yep, you can interrupt any dash abilities that isn't a blink.
That is so neat. And he did, like, it's even more impressive because Mush Monkey was coming out of Fog of War. He didn't know Mush Monkey was leaping in. He had only that, like, half second to react when Mush Monkey was about to land. So far, Quinmane's reaction time has been really impressive this game. Sadly, he's falling behind just by dint of the matchup. There's the blind and a one-punch mid, nicely placed. But Piltover Peacemaker cannot be blinded out. However, Just Ask finds himself in the perfect situation to come back. He gets himself a kill. We'll see if he can chase down another. This is the Katarina dream, but he doesn't have the reach for any more than one.
Well, imagine he's going to take all he can get right now.
They might be able to get this. They don't realize they're sitting on a ward. There's the slow on the Mush Monkey. Can't find Nebo, goes down. Just Ask Shunpo's a little too early. And Mush Monkey makes it over the wall.
A little bit greedy with that second Shumpo there.
I don't know if he would have got him anyways. Elastic Slingshot did get him pretty far away.
That is true.
But that is really good for Just Ask. 2 kills to him. He's got a few Dark Seal stacks because he started off that. I mean, that just adds insult to injury that he fell so far behind after starting Dark Seal. So that's going to help him recoup those losses. And also, of course, the gold and even this Ocean Drake will be super valuable for him.
And definitely are going to take all the help they can get because they're still behind a little bit here.
Jamook is a dangerous, dangerous fellow right now. Don't know if anyone really wants to take him on. The charm doesn't land, though, so they're going to be able to back off. Or perhaps not. Graves is sticking around. Quinmane is looking for a fight on a one-punch mid. Gets the passive proc once. Doesn't quite land the second proc, but still takes about half his health. And things are still tense on the bottom side.
Definitely quite a few individuals just kind of hanging out, having a party.
Yeah, Jamook is the one playing super aggressive. He's really fishing for a charm right now.
He knows
Right in
that
that corner.
there's no one there that if he charms them, he most certainly will take a ridiculous amount of damage.
Ooh, that was close. Mush Monkey almost landing the knockup on a Necklace.
Because from the looks of things,
Jamook has spent so much time here, though, and Just Ask was able to get a little bit of farm for himself in the meantime. He's not caught up too much.
He's,
Still about 40 behind. But now
he's
he's returned to the bottom lane, and he's hanging out there with them.
this might be hard for Grey Ice, though. They don't have
Feel
much of a
like-
front line.
I feel like Just Ask should be heading back mid right now, though, and pushing that out. And getting some more CS for himself. I don't know if Grey Eyes really want to take this fight. I mean, one punch mid just took a lot of damage, maybe.
Ooh, but Quinmane also taking quite a bit of damage.
Well, at least somebody's pushing out mid lane. Nekasle has realized the potential futility of this and has roamed back to mid, and Icy Storm is going to go down. Foxfire comes through, but the shield is there. The final Foxfire finds its mark. That's a hell of a sentence to say.
Next slay might be chased down here.
I think he's all right at this point. Got over the wall. Here comes the Tom Kench ulti, actually. He's got some reinforcements. Both top laners using their global and semi-global, respectively. Monkey gets licked. But Trevor Strong has shown up. Barrel is crushed before he can pop it. Trevor Strong is likely going to get eaten here. Mega Unicorn's holding on to that gray health as long as possible. There it is. Pop for the second chance of this fight. There's the smite onto Trevor Strong, where the rest of his team has shown up and in force. Charm flies out, but it doesn't land. The Negaslay flashes away. They flash for the Ignite. Negaslay dashes over the wall. Can he survive? The last tick comes through, and Jamook is on a rampage. Tom Kench got away, but his jungler was not so lucky. Oh no, Ask. That was the wrong bush to go near. Sean puts away to Quinmane, but Quinmane is going to be fish food. Just Ask leaping in, but there's a Cell Division passive. No, you had to know that was up. Oh, there's the hook of the Ice Storm. This is just disaster after disaster. The flash away keeps it from being... Well, actually, it wouldn't have been an ace. Mega Unicorn got out. But the flash away keeps it from being a 4-for-0.
That is still a flash,
But
though.
he's near the turret still. He might yet go down. This is just Ice pushing their luck over and over.
A little
And it's never
poor.
working out for them.
Some slightly poor decision making there. Just a chain of really bad events.
I mean, at most, they would have gotten the kill on the Mush Monkey. At most. That would not have been worth half of what happened there.
I know they're behind and they need to make some desperate plays here, but they still have to know what they can and can't do.
And it's a Trinity Force completed for Trevor Strong. He's still working on that call, so he's got some gold in the bank. That's 404 score not found for Jamook, who's going to be finishing off an Abyssal Scepter soon. And I'm assuming there's a Infinity Edge and a Rapid Fire Cannon in Caitlyn's future. It's a little bit off the beaten path. Usually you go Runons.
You usually see the Runons. You don't see Rapid Fire or Static Shift all that much anymore.
Yeah, but it looks like he's going the Rapid Fire route. He's got the precursor item there. Wow. The heal comes down from Quinmane. Jamook gets over the wall. Pulls the Summoner spell for his ulti, though.
Well, Jamook is definitely a huge threat and was able to escape, though.
For how slow starting this game was, it's picking up now. He's Mega Unicorn. I mean, he's not really dying in this lane, but he's just no longer able to keep Gangplank at bay, and he's not giving any ground to this guy.
Kind of surprised he didn't go Sunfire instead of the Deadman's.
Well, I think the Deadman's played is so that he can, like, maybe catch Caitlyn or catch Ahri during a fight. So the extra mobility is just to get, like, to the back line and kill somebody. But I'm just really surprised at the Tom Kench pick overall. Not necessarily because it's, like, a bad laner in every situation, but they have a Caitlyn and they have an Ahri, and there's, like, almost no way that Mega Unicorn is able to make use of the actually pretty crazy Bruiser Tom Kench damage on a carry. Wow, that was a really long-range Zac engage, but Mush Monkey didn't manage to land even his ults proc onto anybody.
That was kind of surprising. I'm
was
surprised the ult
Force
procs
strike
didn't
by
land.
someone. That's a lot of resources burned. Gangplank ulti was dropped too to cut them off, and they didn't even do anything.
Yeah, the Mush Monkey's ultimate not landing there was kind of unfortunate. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jamook may go down. A nice sidestep away from the inevitable charm. Just Ask might be able to chase this kill down with a speed buff from Icy Storm. Knife comes down. Icy Storm is going to blow up. Jamook has 10 health left. He gets out. Oh, or maybe not. Quinmane is chasing. Quinmane is flashing. Quinmane is shutting down the enemy mid laner. Just Ask has about half his health left, though he's being chased by a blood-hungry Blitzcrank. The robots are rebelling. And they have science experiments on their side, but they're being cut off by a fishman. League of Legends is really confusing when you take it literally. Mega Unicorn is trying to finish off One Punch Mid who flashes over the wall. I can't find Nemo. Can't find a hook. And it looks like everybody else gets out alive. But that is a 2-for-1 trade, I believe, since Karma went down.
Another kill going to Just Ask, giving some much-needed gold.
He's able to finish off a loot. Sold the Dark Seal so that he completed it early. Maybe that's the right call.
That is indeed probably the right call, because he was just not getting any value from that Dark Seal.
It was a valiant attempt. Very confident of him to start that off. Wow.
That's
Trevor
just
Strong, he hasn't been too flashy this game, but he is farming up a storm, and he's got a lot of extra sources of gold, so he's going to do some good damage moving into the mid game.
he does have that call still for another 12 minions,
Mm.
and with how well it looks like, despite free agent team does have the lead here, Grayos making a recovery here. They're able to pick
Yeah,
up some kills here and there.
I'd say Grey Ice are certainly very much in this game, but they're not the favorites to win it by any means.
Yeah, they need to be very
Yeah.
careful with their decision making.
Okay, so Rift Herald doesn't actually despawn at 20 minutes. It despawns at like 1954 or something like that. It's not literally on the 20-minute mark. So they have very little time to finish this. But it looks like they're going to be able to do it. The smite came down early. This could be stolen away if anyone was here to steal it. And it's going to be taken. All right. They had about 10 seconds left to spare.
They're indeed able to get it.
To answer the chat, the opens, the weekly opens, don't actually have a monetary prize. Instead, you get a free entry into one of our monthly tournaments, which does have a monetary prize, which usually costs to enter but doesn't for the winning team. Just as is going to get exhausted as he's trying to escape. Can't find Nemo, actually finishes off that kill, however, as Mega Unicorn is first to pop the gray health kind of early on in the fight. It's a lot of Tom Kench's effectiveness as a tank burned away. He has to run away with his tail between his legs. His fins between his legs, I guess? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but that is free agent team picking up another 2 kills, further extending their lead.
And potentially even pushing it onto a secondary turret here. Both Caitlyn and Gangplank are still full on in health. And there's nobody who can really stop them at this point. Or, no, they've got the Quinn Tom Kench engaged. Quinn Main is leaping out of a frog's belly to an early death. The Mega Unicorn, now the frog himself, may yet fall. Tosses out a minion to slow somebody down, trying to chase him. And one punch middle toss down his ulti, but speaking of ultimates, there goes the collateral damage. A flash answered from a flash by Trevor Strong, who's now going to be losing pretty much all his health, just in fact all of it. There's the lick on a one punch mid. This is looking pretty good, actually. As Just Ask is leaping forward, looking for those resets as well. The speed buff across his whole team from Icy Storm. But there'll be nothing else to come of it.
Well, Mush Monkey's still not quite at home yet. Oh, they're starting a Baron attempt here.
Oh man, this is brave. This is just bravery bordering the line to almost stupidity at this point. But Mush Monkey has to flash out of the pits. They don't have the damage, though. By no means do they have the damage for this.
Especially not after getting a nice little chunk there from the Elastic Slingshot.
Yeah, maybe if they had been completely out of vision and the enemy team didn't think, and they could have taken it. If the enemy team just stopped thinking for a good 3 minutes.
But still, that is still... Even with the kills they picked up, they're still behind.
Yeah, and by a pretty sizable amount. What they are missing, really, is turrets. They haven't gotten a single one yet this game, and that hurts. That hurts a lot, considering they're down 3 every single outer one against their opponents. And the top turret, now secondary turret, is incredibly low in health. Let me actually go over and glance at it. Oh, I thought it was much lower than it was. They only took it down to about half.
Well, that is, that's Mega Unicorn picking up a Banshee's Veil. A little unusual.
Yeah. It's going to be useful against Jamook. But Jamook probably won't be aiming the charms his way anyways. Good against the engage from Zac, I suppose. And hooks from Nemo. Like, Banshee's Veil is certainly good against Blitzcrank, I'll give him that. But he kind of wants to be hooked. Because if he's the one who body blocks the hook, that means one of his carries isn't getting hooked, and that's good.
That is very good. Ooh. Blind Hook not quite making it.
Yeah. I think if he wanted an MRA, maybe a Spirit Visage might have been the better choice. Get some more health efficiency off of his gray health whenever he doesn't pop it in lane.
Either that or a Locket.
Yeah, that too as well. Giving that magic resist to his whole team could have been very nice. Nice sidestep from Trevor Strong.
And Trevor Strong making use of the Phage passive on that Trinity Force.
Yeah. Extra movement speed allowing him to dodge away from the Tongue Lash. Sounds like a Pokemon ability.
It does.
It is, actually. Lickitung, I think, uses that.
I haven't played that in so long. I think you're right, though. That sounds right.
It makes sense. He's got a tongue. He can lash it at people. Ooh. Nemo's still looking for those hooks. Hasn't found very many of them, but then again, he's not very good at finding things, presumably, given his name.
How can you expect to land a hook if you can't find Nemo?
He was in the fish tank the whole time. He's even against a Tom Kench. He's right there. Now, Tom Kench isn't a clownfish. He's a catfish. And there's another one. But, I mean, if we kept a counter of every missed Blitzcrank hook, it wouldn't be quite as important as the hit ones. You know, it's not a very long cooldown. It's got a huge amount of impact if you actually do land it. You miss 100% of the hooks you don't throw. Wayne Gretzky. Michael Scott.
It's one of those abilities that doesn't matter how many times you miss it, you just need to land the perfect one.
Yeah, sort of like old Nidalee. She was a mid laner.
Oh God, don't remind me.
Every 4 seconds.
I remember
Spear
seeing.
that did a third of your health every 4 seconds.
I remember seeing my first professional game was with Hotshot GG playing Italy, and he landed a spear, max range,
Shot GG.
pretty much, and just murdered Morgana from full health. Like that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The Volcanic Drake will be with us very shortly. Icy Storm may not be with us for very much longer, though. And Jamook landing everything but the charm there. Doesn't quite get the kill, as he actually gets bursted decently low himself, but Mecha Slay is not long for this world. The heal comes down from Quinmain to ferry him and his friend out of danger, but that danger will then just turn and kill a dragon. And a red buff, I suppose.
And just ask desperately, not wanting to die there when he almost did. He ate one crit from one punch mid and almost died.
Yeah. And I'd say the only real success that we've seen from GI has been when they've been really opportunistic. Whenever there's like a clear objective being taken or a team fight to be had, the free agent team just outperforms mechanically, rotationally, all of that. But whenever free agent does make a misstep, we've seen GI there ready to take advantage of it. So I guess they just need to pray for more missteps. Maybe this Baron is a misstep. It
That's
could
what
very
I'm
well
thinking.
be.
Very well could be, yeah.
The rest of the team is peeling off the Baron. It looks like they're going to stop the Baron attempt. There's the jump in from Just Ask. If he can get the resets here, this is where it's going to matter. But the hook lands from Finding Nemo just a little bit too late, as the rest of his team has already pretty much fallen around him. Zach is the last man standing. Can even be called a man. Leaps out of the fight. He might still choose to stick around to go for the Smite Steal, though, but Quinmain is going to discourage him from doing that, and might actually just discourage him from having hit points in general, but Mushmuggy's leaping into the pit. He's way too early to this party. Not fashionably so, either. It'll be fashionably late, not early, my friend.
And that is going to be most certainly a Baron going over to Grey Ice here.
Just as I was saying, whenever a free agent team is making some sort of critical mistake, they're there to capitalize on it. It's just a matter of whether or not the free agent team makes enough mistakes. Poor freaking Icy Storm. He's been the brunt of every single play from free agent this game. Just every time there's a man to be killed or a depressing death to be had, Icy Storm has been there to volunteer.
That was indeed very depressing. Funny for us, but...
Poor guy. Really. That's the support life, though. 0, 5, and 9. Taking it for the team. 5 times, in fact.
And we're seeing the power of Just Axe there. Despite the exhaust, he still did a good chunk of damage before the exhaust even came down.
I have to imagine what that fight would have looked like if the exhaust had never come down. And that's why Trevor Strong took it. But I'm a little bit surprised that Can't Find Nemo didn't. Because the teleport would have been awesome for Gangplank to have. And it would have provided them a lot more flexibility now at this point in the game. And honestly, there wasn't a lot of aggression in the bottom lane. Can't Find Nemo didn't land enough hooks for the Ignite to be worth taking. Exhaust would just be better, especially against a short-range carry like a Quinn.
Absolutely. We're seeing Can't Find Nemo is actually getting quite durable. He has that Giant's belt now, and a Chain Vest.
Yeah. Looks like he might be building a little bit greedy with his next item. He's gone with the... Mega Unicorn gets hooked, but as I said, it's not too impactful. That's why I'm a little confused by the Banshee's failed choice. But he's building into maybe a Randuin's next. Make a lot of sense. Allow him to slow down Quinn whenever she leaves into a fight.
It's looking like a dead man's.
Oh yeah, Randuin doesn't build a Chain Vest.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to go down. Necaslay finishing that off with his ulti long range. A hook on a Mega Unicorn will pull him back under the turret. It looks like he'll be the lamb on the altar for his team. Trevor Strong doesn't quite get hit by the blinding assault. He manages to shut down the frog. He inhibits the ribbit, you could say. As Mushmonkey is now leaping in, he gets interrupted again. Nicely done by Quinmain.
I feel kind of bad for Mushmonkey trying to catch Quinmain. It's just one of those impossible
At this point,
matchups.
I don't think it's ever going to happen. As long as Vault is up, Quinmane seems to have the reflexes and the know-how to land that every time.
Pretty much. Vault actually has a pretty short cooldown as well, especially with some CDR, which he doesn't even have any right now.
Yeah, he may very well build into some. Umuz is a legitimate option. That has a bit of CDR on it. But Scrank could be in some trouble here. Finding lands. The hook lands on the Just Ask, sidestep by Icy Storm. This time he ain't taking any of that crap.
And
He's
there's
gonna
the
land
grenade
somewhere.
finish.
And yeah, the smoke screen for the finish. Not something you see every day. My AP support craze kills people with smoke screen all the time. It's gonna be new meta. I mean, if Misfortune can be a support.
Ooh,
4K, no grades. Anything on a Trevor Strong? Trevor Strong is happy to take this fight, though, and for good darn reason. Wow.
And even with the exhaust, he still almost died, but that was enough to finish the job. He's able to force Quitmane's heal as well.
And in the War of the Summoners, exhaust turned out to be supreme. Mega Unicorn has a ZZ Rot portal third. Looking for that pressure. They finally did take some turrets, by the way. I mentioned a few minutes ago that was imperative for them to do, and they've done it, so.
And they've made a nice recovery. The score is much better now. We're seeing Mega Unicorns just chilling in this bush, waiting for somebody to try and kill it.
And I'm actually a pretty big fan of their team comp late game. I mean, that's not to say that the free agent team doesn't have some late game powerhouses as well. Gangplank, Caitlyn, the pick potential of Blitzcrank, once you get to the point where there's like 70-second death timers, that can be really crazy good for you. Like, one hook landing, and that can just spell the game because somebody's out of the game for more than a minute. If you manage to get that late. But I like Tom Kench alongside multiple hyper carries. It's pretty solid.
Absolutely.
Mush Monkey splitting off Mecha Slay with that elastic slingshot does force the flash out of the Graves. Actually, no. He just dashed over the wall. He had flash down already.
Yeah, that was
Somebody
Mush Monkey
flashed.
using his flash.
Yeah, it was Mush Monkey that flashed to make the engage happen. That's not good. Tom Kench now coming into the back lines of this fight is looking for the flank. However, they don't have Quinn here. This could be a little rough for that Mecha Slay gets bursted, but he's got the magic shield. And Just Ask is on a spree. He's got 2. Can he find 3? There's the big old cannonball, though. And that Death's Daughter is the name of the empowerment. But it's a triple kill.
Still, that's a 4 for 1. And it gives them a. They're not entirely caught up, but it's really close. It's pretty
Wow,
close
it's
to
a
even
dead
now.
man's plate. It's a dead man's plate for Blitzcrank. Neither of us were right.
I did say Deadman's Plate though.
No, I thought you said. What did you say? You said dead man's plate then. Dang, I thought you said Sunfire for some reason.
No, I said Sunfire for Tom Kench.
You're right. I'm wrong. Dead man's plate for Blitzcrank. It's interesting nonetheless.
That
Regardless
does.
of who's correct. You are the color guy. You should know this.
It does give us. It does give him some more mobility. So
Yeah, it's an interesting pick. I don't know. It seems a little bit too selfish for me from the support.
it is a little selfish. Yes.
But he's an Ignite Blitzcrank. It fits with the MO at the very least.
Who knows? Maybe he can make good use of it and find him, puts him in a position a little easier.
Hey, Trevor Strong's getting extra gold off those ZZ Route minions. This is cute. Neat. Like a unicorn's strategy has been countered.
It's like, thanks for the gold, noob. Yar.
I really hope the players don't trash talk each other like that. I don't honestly. A little bit of friendly trash talking, I wouldn't mind, but I just hope they're more competent than that. Thanks for the gold, noob. Oh man.
I could forgive him if he talked in a pirate voice while doing it.
It's true. Yeah, anything in a pirate voice is better, especially since he is a pirate.
It's
Speaking
extremely
of-
appropriate.
Trevor Strong though, 4 core items completed. The guy is on the fast track to hyper carrying this game. If he can find the time to come out of top lane, it looks like he's found it. He's in mid lane now.
And he has. I'm curious to see what he builds for his last item. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Maw and make a little survival.
That could make sense. Just Ask is actually becoming a decent threat now. You could even just go with like a tanky item, like that Dead Man's Plate that seems to be the flavor of the week for this game. Spirit Visage even, empower the healing in the W. There's a lot of options for him. He's kind of got the core already with the Triforce Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer. Now just going some tankiness would probably serve him pretty well.
Absolutely. Quinmane sitting off to the side, looking for an opportunity to maybe flank.
Jamak thought he had an opportunity as well, but Spirit rushes down and he doesn't really have much to show for it. And we've turned to that classic ARAM style of gameplay, but it looks like he's going to explode into some gameplay here. Just Ask almost manages to get the reset. As Mushmonkey's being chased off on the side, it's a battle of the junglers. Stretching strike creates some distance, and collateral damage does not hit the mark. Flash from Nekislay to block the bullet. Okay, Quinmane gets out. Don't know if that flash was quite necessary. Quinmane had enough movement speed, I think, to maneuver himself to the right location.
Ooh, that was a good set of barrels. He was able to slow down Mega Unicorn, forcing the flash.
An appropriate quote from Trevor Strong's Gangplank as well, like fish in a barrel. As he had both barrels and fish involved in that fight.
Now, if only there was a Fizz and a Nami, then there'd be more fish.
There's some sort of joke there, but I can't make it, so I'm just referencing the fact that it could be made.
Indeed it could. Well, this is slowing down immensely. Despite the lead that free agent team had, they've kind of lost it here.
Yeah, I feel like they're still the team that's looking to call the shots and make the engages, but a lot of their attempts have been kind of botched. That's not to say that GI hasn't had their own failed engages as well. That Tom Kench flank was not so great, but
Ow!
does damage now. Surprise!
He's got the
It's a bird.
he's got the Infinity Edge into Static Shiv.
And now there's another Tom Kench flank. That seems to be the strategy here for GI. Pick a fight by Tom Kench ulting, and Nekislay gets the collateral damage. The big old cone at the end has quite a bit of range. Pardon me. Ace in the hole comes down. Nekislay is not going to get that blocked. Quinmane not looking to return the favor, and Mushmonkey's going to jump over the wall, but the Hex Drinker passive is there. And Mushmonkey was not counting on that. Going to lose his own life for the trade. Cell Division goes down as well. It's always depressing when you pop Cell Division and then still die.
And that's Grey Eyes once again picking up a win for a fight.
Yeah, Grey Eyes are very much back in this game. I'd say this game is pretty much dead even now. Especially considering that Grey Eyes have 3 dragons compared to 1. Actually, those dragons were, I refresh my memory.
And they were happy to take those early dragons when no one was looking.
Yeah, they've got the smorgasbord of dragons. 3 different varieties. Wow.
That was a lot of damage.
Playing hurts, man. Oh, man. Trevor Strong. When he crits, that was 962 damage.
Those
And
minions
that
didn't
was
stand a chance.
No. In the chance of a snowball in hell. In the chance of a barrel near a happy gangplank. Barrels just seem to explode around that guy.
Nekaslay's finished his death dance, so he's going to be even more durable now.
And that's a thorn mail for a Mushmonkey. Interesting. There are 2 AD carries in the enemy team. Graves does a lot of his damage through abilities, though. Thornmail won't really hurt him that much. He's going to auto like 3 times or 4 times maybe during a fight. Because of that reload mechanic. Doesn't get a lot of autos off. And Quinn as well does a good amount of burst abilities, though the Thornmail will actually work on the empowered damage from her passive, so she'll chunk herself whenever she autos him if the mark is on Mushmonkey. But the mark really should never be on Mushmonkey. Mushmonkey? Because Quinmane should be controlling that mark so that it's on the targets he wants to kill, which is almost never going to be Zac.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't go for Randuin's instead. That'd have been a better choice, I think, personally.
The crit reduction would have been nice. That and the ability to slow down the 2 short-range AD carries that they have. Who are both going to likely be in the Randuins whenever he needs the active.
Absolutely. Oh. Mushmonkey not quite looking for getting the engage he wants there. He backs off. Mega Unicorn still has that Banshee spell, and as I say that, it disappears.
Yes. It served his purpose, though. It prevented the Dead Man's Play from going down, so he still has that speed buff. Which is kind of nice for him.
Certainly very useful.
That may be one of the reasons why I got it. It has a decent synergy with Dead Man's Blade. It allows you to preserve that speed buff through like 1 spell tossed your way. So you can make engages work a little bit more easily. Mega Unicorn is like super fast.
Nekaslay took a pretty good chunk of damage there, but he is getting some assistance. And of course he has all that extra deceptive durability items.
You have to glance both bot and top, though. As top lane now, we see Quinn going up there to clean out the waves, so that's going to slow push forwards. And then bot is a ZZ Rot portal assisting the wave, placed there by friendly Tom Kench. Ooh, Just Ask gets caught by a charm, though. He is gone, and those waves may not matter if the rest of the team just kind of evaporates. Mega Unicorn is burning down quicker than he can even pop the Grey Hell. One Punch Mid takes him out. An Icy Storm will follow. Ace Null comes down.
And that's a free agent team taking the lead back. That was.
That's the power of the pick. Buck landed a nice charm, and it snowballed from there. Oh no, Quinmane. Beautiful vault again, but I don't think it'll be enough to save his life.
This could be the end here. I don't know.
He trusted too much in that vault being enough to get him to safety.
If it's strictly one-on-one, sure, but
And honestly, I don't really know what he could have done in that situation, even if he had been able to get out. Because there's not really that much he can do to clear this as a Quinn, without much range and much wave clear. This is the game.
that is going to be free agent team number 2 going to the finals. I think this is the first time we've seen a free agent team go to finals.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, this is the first time ever. So congratulations to these guys. Maybe they should consider getting themselves a name and banding together on a little bit more of a permanent basis.
This is going to be an opportunity to check the other side of the bracket to see how far they have gone. And it is Team Frostborn has made it to the finals. And they'll be facing off against free agent team number 2. So on that note, guys, we'll be taking a small, tiny break once we're in Champion Select. We'll be right back, so don't go anywhere.
like, man, you got to have that time where you just like disconnect from the scene.
Welcome back to the Reverie Open number 68. We're in the finals with, I believe it's Team Frostborn facing off against free agent team number 2. Rather rare occurrence.
Yeah. Rare is a bit of an understatement. This is the first time we've ever seen free agent team make it to the finals, and immediately we see the Gangplank ban against Trevor Strong. Makes a lot of sense. He is a Gangplank player through and through. The guy loves his carry top laners, from what I remember of the last time I've seen him, and from last game.
Is Trevor strong? At the very least when he's playing Gangplank, apparently.
Yes.
So we'll have to see how well he can play other things.
A Vayne ban against the player named Arclight Vayne. I could see why. So far, it's just been the targeted bans, as these players are taking their time doing potentially some last-minute research on profile pages.
I definitely have a few seconds to do it. I have to see what else comes out, because we did see a series of rather unusual bans in the previous game. And there's the Nidalee, which is not super unusual, but we didn't see it banned last game.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more unusual. You don't see a lot of Nidalees these days. Not since her last round of nerfs and the new favor towards tank and early ganking junglers that we're seeing. Things like Lisa and Zac, Rek'Sai now and then, but not too terribly often anymore as well.
Now, what else is going to be?
All right, Ezreal. So real focus on the AD carry role here from the free agent team.
They're definitely taking their time. Vayne, Ezreal, not super common bans, that's for sure.
Yeah, it tells me that maybe the player to look out for is this AD carry, since there's a lot of respect being thrown that way. Kennen going to be banned out. Trevor Strong has played that in the past on the Reverie stage, if I can call it that. And Zac will be banned out. Pretty common jungler pick nowadays, and potentially a targeted ban as well against whoever it is that's going to be jungling for this roster, since we don't, I believe, have them in AD carry order. Ahri will be let through for Jamuk, though.
He did have a pretty decent game, though. So we'll have to see if it gets stolen or if they let it through. I'm not sure yet. So they did free agent team did first pick the Ahri as soon as it was available.
Mm-hmm. It could still be picked away from them, though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put it past them. The amount of work that Jamuk put in last game and how aggressive he was, too, it would make some sense. But it's going to be a Jhin first pick, continuing the emphasis on AD carries for the Frostborn.
Mushmonkey hovering on a variety of picks, but he did hover on the Graves the longest there. So I think that might be what they go for, because he is, of course, a very common jungler nowadays with how much damage he can output.
I'd love to see a Lee Sin. Mushmonkey had an aggressive Zac game, which is kind of out of character for the champion. So seeing him on something like Lee Sin would, I think, make a bit more sense for him. One Punch Mid's going to go back to another late game hyper carry, though, in the form of in the form of Jinx. Was Caitlyn last game. Long range hyper carry AD carries, though.
To see if Mushmonkey locks us in. He's hovering on it. He likes it. He can't make up his mind, though. As we know,
I've learned not to analyze hovers. There's one thing I've learned in my years of casting. In terms of picks and bans, you don't analyze hovers because they'll do that. And it's the Lee Sin. I think it fits Mushmonkey's jungling style.
does indeed. So a little bit, slightly different from Zac, of course, but it does give him some strong mobility and attack power.
Yeah, and allows him to get some early ganks. Mushmonkey was really helpful in Jamuk getting ahead. I wouldn't actually say that the Katarina was poorly played in the laning phase or the team fights. Jamuk had a very aggressive lane, and he had a jungler that was there to help him out a lot, and flashes were down early, which forced Katarina to play really safe early on. So a lot of that I can say is down to the synergy between Mushmonkey and Jamuk. Now, I'm not trying to take away from the performance of last game, because that is something that any team can do. It's not really camping, to me, is not really a dirty word. A lot of players, they don't like their jungling style to be described as camping, because for some reason it feels to them to be kind of dirty, but it's not. it's a good idea in the right circumstances. When you have a player who you know can carry when you get them ahead, camp their lane. If you have a matchup that you know you can exacerbate and make horrible for the enemy, camp that lane. It's a good idea sometimes.
As a laner, it's annoying to be camped, but it is a good strategy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely is. Now you got to be careful with it. If you go all out on just one lane, sometimes that can backfire pretty horribly. But if you know how to handle it and if you play around it appropriately, camping can be a perfectly fine strategy. Will be a Malphite and a Nami locked in though. That's some hard engage right there. Well, hard engage plus soft engage follow up. I like it.
And then we're seeing a Trundle being locked in, most likely for Trevor Strong. And it does give him some strong power against a Malphite.
And it'll be the support pick. Actually, no. Yeah, the Trundle's going to be the support pick there, most likely. It could be a top Trundle for Trevor Strong. So I wanted to say it'll be the support pick last because I automatically put the Trundle top, but it could still be a Trundle support.
That is true.
Um, and we might see Nemo grab the Blitzcrank or something like that again. I don't know. He seemed to enjoy that champ last time around. Kha'Zix is a very strange pick, and Lux as well is a little bit out of the ballpark.
But that does give them some interesting options here. If Lux can land a good pick with the snares, that opens up some opportunities for the Malphite to just dive on in and say hi to everybody.
The thing I'm most worried about though is that Jin and Lux, the two carries for this team, are both completely immobile, and they're up against an Ari and a Lee Sin, no less. That mid lane is campable, and we know that Mush Monkey likes to camp mid lane, particularly from last game. So I'm a little worried for the Lux.
We'll have to see how well it plays out. And I'm interested to see how this Kha'Zix is played out, because it's not a character we see very frequently. And if it's strictly a one-on-one and no one's around to ruin the isolation, he can do a lot of damage, but I don't know how well he's going to do. We'll just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have a little bit of a spectator delay before we can see any of that, but we should be able to get through that pretty quick. I'd imagine somewhere in the range of 3 minutes or 2 minutes.
Pretty close. So we are on that note. We are going to take a small, tiny break. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
It's never too late to admit when you're wrong.
And we're back! Welcome to the Reverie Esports Open number 68, the finals. Best of 3.
Excited to be here.
Absolutely.
This is the first time a free agent team has ever made it this far, and I want to see if they can make it all the way, if they can make it to the finish line. But I'm unbiased. I have to be unbiased. No, I really am excited to see it.
It's definitely going to be very interesting to see what they do here. Because this is a slightly different comp. They are not running the Blitzcrank this time, because of course there is no Katarina to bother interrupting.
They're preparing for an invade. This is really interesting. It's not going to come to much because there's a line of scrimmage being set up by free agents. But this is a really interesting starting strategy. You don't see this too terribly often. You'll either see the invade or like a standard line of scrimmage. You don't see I guess, counter invade strategy.
It's not particularly common, but they did see. They might have had someone watching the previous match, so that they did see the invade from free agent team.
Mm-hmm.
But that was primarily because they did have the Blitzcrank, which would give them very strong invade potential.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Ari and Lee Sin. If Ari chooses Charm first, they could still catch somebody. Braum is actually really strong at level 1 if you've got, like, other forms of engage, because then his passive starts stacking up and things get out of hand. But we will not see that level 1 fight. It will not materialize for us. It's not anytime soon.
It looks like both junglers will be starting at the Krugs.
Yeah, opposite sides of the map, though. Even though that's how the map works. It is mirrored. And Captain Falcon's going to get a little bit of a better leash, if only because his bottom lane is here to help him out.
And he does indeed get a pretty decent leash there. He's quickly going to clear that out.
Krugs! Oh man, I saw a wonderful comic once. It started off with like Captain Falcon punching somebody and shouting Falcon punch. And then it transitioned to Falcon being like in a church on his knees, Falcon pray! And he was talking to a priest, Falcon penitence! It was pretty good. Anyways, I'm sure it was hilarious when I described it. That's the best way that comedy can be transferred.
I can see it in my head. I think it's amusing.
It is amusing, at least. Anyways, we've got League of Legends on our hands. We've got a bottom lane to talk about. It's going to be Jinx and Braum facing off against Jhin and Nami. Jhin and Nami seems to be a little bit more of the current meta, I'd say.
Just a little bit. You don't see as much Jinx. I mean, she has insane damage output in the late game, but
Yeah, in her strength, she is certainly strong, but I'd say in her weaknesses, she is just as weak, being that immobile carry, not really having a lot of ability to escape from a catch or a gank or even just a skirmish in the 2v2. Looks like we might have had a disconnect on one of the teams as we've paused the game out here for a few moments, but it should be only just a few moments.
hopefully it is just brief, and as soon as, of course, they're done, we'll be right back. This gives us an opportunity to kind of take a look here. Both junglers are still jungling, nothing too unusual.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that too unusual at all.
The Captain Falcon is taking his time on getting up to that top side. Is he invading?
It may very well be the case. Could be just going after a little bit of seafood, though, taking the crab in the river. It looks like that's the case. Kha'Zix takes crab incredibly quickly because of the bonus isolation damage. Even though he can't CC it and reduce the armor and magic resist it has, he does get a good amount of damage out of his passive at the very least.
That is true.
It looks like he's showing up mid lane. We've got the first gank of the game, but directed camera doesn't really want to show it. We're hopping back over there now. Captain Falcon doesn't have a lot of mana left to throw at this fight, and Jamuk's going to get out with his tails waving in the wind behind them. Not even a summoner burned.
Yeah.
From either side, though. Ooh, the bubble doesn't land. Aqua Prison not quite finding its mark. His reflexes pops the heal. The exhaust comes down in answer, though. He's dangerously low, and he will fall to the first blood. One Punch Mid saved his heal for the last moment, too. Meeps and Muglitz is going to get popped.
And that
is
is
the Jinx getting a double.
that is the free agent team taking a nice firm lead there.
Oh, yes. And he's going to be able to push a wave and a half onto the turret here as well. This is so good for One Punch Mid, who was getting harassed out of the lane. Well, not quite out of the lane, but he was getting harassed earlier on because he had the melee support, because he's that immobile Jinx. Now to pick up a kill and an assist and get that CS lead as well, ooh, that is the perfect start.
It's definitely going to give him a nice strong lead there, and he's going to pick up a BF sword on his first back.
The ideal first back for an AD carry. Has been since Season 2. You want that BF sword, the best friend sword. It's your best friend for laning phase.
The big, I can't say
The
that
big
word.
fella.
Yes,
The big fella.
the big fella sword.
Yeah. Because you know you're a big fella when you got one. Trevor Strong uncharacteristically missed a few CS in that way, but he's still 31-15, so he's doing just fine here against Gold Dot, holding him up against the wall there.
He's taking a lot of
Decent trade.
damage, but Goldot's not focusing on farming. He's actually focusing on hitting Trevor a lot, which I think might be a mistake.
Yeah, and he's just in the rough situation of a Malphite's getting pushed in. He doesn't farm too very well under tower or under pressure at all. As Malphite doesn't have a lot in the way of damage to throw at minions. Unless you go AP, which I don't think he's going to do this game.
It's true. Mushmonkey and Captain Falcon having a little bit of a scuffle there, doing about the same amount of damage to each other.
Scuffle is a great word. I'm going to use that word more often now. So many words that begin with S mean like fight, skirmish, scuffle. It's skivvy, I think. I don't know.
I'm not sure about that one.
British slang escapes me.
Dang Brits and their silly non-English.
It's the first English, therefore it's the best English. Trevor Strong continues to bully back Gold Dot. The health is about the same right now, but it won't be for too very long, as he's got both corrupting pot charges and his passive to fall back on. Surprised Gold Dot hasn't chugged away at his last potion yet. I don't know what he's holding on to that for. There we go.
And there it goes.
Attack speed slow lands on Trevor Strong, but he's got the level 6. The pillar comes down. There's the subjugation, and he is going to live up to the name of his ultimate ability as he subjugates Gold Dot under his turret.
That is going to put Goldot behind. He is not having a good time here up in this top lane.
And that's free agent team taking the lead in yet another one of their lanes. Quite a sizable one at that. Not only the kill, but also 20 CS up. Trevor Strong still pretty strong,
So,
even on a non-carry focused top lane.
that is indeed. Arclight Vayne might be the last hope here if the way that the lanes continue as they're currently going.
Yeah. And being the last hope when you even in lane doesn't feel too hot. Captain Falcon's been doing all right too. He's farming just about evenly, and now he's finding a 1v1 here with Mushmonkey. We'll see if he can come out on top. Oh, the lead lands where Mushmonkey used to be as he flashes away. There's the flash in. Mushmonkey goes down. Now there's an ult over the wall from the Ahri. The exhaust comes down, but he still has just enough damage flashing out of the Finale's Funkelin. He's going to be able to keep himself alive. There's a few more splashes from the Navi is not nearly enough to remove what hit points he had left.
Jamak helping even things out, keeping things from getting too much further out of control. Able to pick up Captain Falcon.
Yeah, and that's a decent trade for oh darn, the name is escaping me.
Free agent,
No, the free agent team is on red.
Team
It's,
Frostborn.
Frostborn, that's it. I knew it was. I wanted to say Iceborn. I really wanted to say Iceborn, but I knew it was wrong, and I didn't want to be wrong. Being wrong on the internet is inexcusable. It's Team Frostborn. And it's actually a pretty good fight for Team Frostborn since
they definitely need everything.
They've decidedly lost everything up until now. So coming out even is an improvement.
Most certainly. And we've definitely seen some strength from Captain Falcon. He's doing quite a bit of damage, going pretty much even with Mushmonkey there, damage for damage.
Mm-hmm. And even in terms of items, literally the same items except boots are on the Kazakhs. It's really cool, actually.
And Trevor Strong and Goldot still going at it. Goldot is just eating so much damage.
But got a Juggler waiting in the wings, though. Trevor Strong continues this play pattern of just walking at him every now and again. He may be in trouble. Yeah, there's the ultimates. Both of them burned. Trevor Strong goes down. Nicely done. I like that gank. It was very smooth and clean.
Absolutely. Captain Falcon taking advantage of his ability to stealth and say hi.
Yeah. I don't think that Trevor Strong knew he was there until he was dead. Captain Falcon now might be in some trouble himself, though. Mushmonkey's going to safeguard to a ward, hopping over the wall. See if he can land the second Sonic Wave. Doesn't connect. Sidestep from Captain Falcon, and he'll be out. Home free.
Captain Falcon escaping with his little bug life.
Did not get squished. But that is vision on the blue buff, so the timer is going to be available for Mushmonkey. May hang out up here, kill this crab, and then come back to try and take it once it spawns in, I believe, about 20 seconds or so.
Nemo taking a little bit of damage there, but...
Flexus does get cut off by the traps, though, and the wave gets cut off as well. Meeps and Muglitz goes dangerously low, but can't find Nemo. Is walking into the face of danger a little too long. Reflexes doesn't have enough mana for ult, though. That's got to feel bad.
Just a little bit. But that is going to force Nemo to go back.
Basically guaranteed a kill there. Because even if it landed on a one-punch mid, then Meeps and Muglets could have landed a good Aqua Prison. They could have kept the fight going. But it just wasn't to be.
Seeing Gold Dot working on that frozen heart. That'll give him some much needed mana.
Yeah, going to be pretty solid against the Jinx as well. And just really useful in lane against the Trundle. Leaves him a little bit squishier in terms of health, but the armor is still going to be useful. Ooh, Bubble not landing on a one-punch mid as Meeps and Muglets just about sidesteps the zap. And they're going to bully the Jinx away from any further farm advantage. Good binding on Jamook. There's Captain Falcon over the wall, and Jamook is no longer with us.
And Ari has been cooked.
Jamook's goose is cooked. Jamook cook.
And it's definitely showing how dangerous a Lux can be when you get snared like that.
I'm gonna gloss over that one. Okay. No, I think that's worth glossing over. Yeah. Wasn't so great. Anyways, this is a very different Jamook than we saw last game. Last game he was dominating the lane. Admittedly, he had a good amount more health than Mush Monkey, and he was making plays left and right, early and mid game. And now he's 1-1. He's even on CS. That's a much more banal performance.
Absolutely. And that is going to be Captain Falcon taking that blue buff for himself. He is eating through quite a bit of mana.
Mush Monkey's down bottom side. Sidestep from Meeps and Muglets though means there's nothing but some vision wars going on.
Meeps and Moogle just casually dodging all kinds of skill shots and traps. And
Yeah, they've done a good job down here. Aside from that earlier double kill, but we saw 4 kills come out thick and fast for Free Agent early on, like in the first 8 minutes, or first 5 minutes even, and then the next 5 minutes of the game, we haven't seen them get a single one. And in fact, they've been killed across the board in a few different places, mainly, I've got to say, because of Captain Falcon being in the right place at the right time. And that is a powerful skill for a jungler to have. So I've got to give props to Captain Falcon for, like, holding the game and not letting it slip any further away.
absolutely. He's definitely making it able to enable here. But now he might be in trouble.
I was just praising him too. The curse of the caster. Oh, that feels so bad. I feel slightly responsible.
He got baited a little bit there.
Baited and potentially outsmarted. If I were to meme about it.
Oh.
Oh, Mush Monkey's going to take some good damage here. Thankfully, he had a ward to hop to. That could have honestly been a kill for Arclight Vayne. You've got to respect the Lux.
Certainly a very dangerous character to ignore, especially once that CDR gets rolling. And
I think this, I mean, yes, the enemy jungler is dead, but I think this Drake might be a little bit too aggressive because Gold Dot has ulti, he's full health, more than willing to go for a fight, and Lux hurts right now.
Oh.
And there's the binding landing, and there's Lux hurting indeed. Gold Dot's gonna go down. Arclight Vayne gets charmed back into the fight, but he flashes out as Jamook gets exhausted trying to chase him up to the top of this fight. Meanwhile, bullets are flying in from that curtain call, and Gold Dot actually reflexes get the kill because the dragon to flash in to block the charm. Meeps and Muglets is a hero.
I do believe, as I like to say quite frequently, that Arclight Vayne owns Meeps and Mooglets a beer, like 4 or 5 of them.
His life, no less. My God, that was some damn good support play right there.
As Arclight had no ability to get out of that way, and he just fucking, wow, that was such a good flash.
I mean, there's not really much more we can say about that. That was pretty good, darn cool to look at. Anyways, the result of that fight is that Frostborn is now ahead. They're the ones who I think they took the Drake after that.
They did take the Drake.
Got the Ocean Drake after that. There's kills on there's a kill on Reflex. They've actually spread the gold out really nicely. Kill went to Gold Dot, I think. Kill went to Reflex. Kill went to Arclight. So they haven't even got like a single threat to be focused down by this Ahri Lee Sin combo. That was really, really well played by Team Frostborn.
Absolutely.
Like, keep wanting to call Team Frostbomb for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm actually a little surprised they won that fight because they threw 2 ults just on the one punch mid that were actually very effective AoE, but they still managed to come out when Reflex came from behind and just started destroying the backline.
Yeah, I think it was some quality mechanical play, particularly at the end from some of it. And then just disrespect towards the Lux pick. It's Trevor Strong now disrespecting Gold Dot and Captain Falcon, going for the turret push. Might be his life, actually.
Gold Dot almost has his ult here.
Yeah, Gold Dot will just be able to keep walking under this turret. He doesn't do a lot of damage, but he doesn't really care too much about turrets. And Captain Falcon brings down the Trundle. Let's see if Mush Monkey can clean anything up. Safeguard over the wall, but the Unstoppable Force stops him in his tracks, and Gold Dot's going to body block the Q. Purposefully or not, he's a big tanky wall of rock.
And they're wanting to dive it
There
here.
goes the kill. So flash in for the slow. Dive it they do.
Goldot has a lot of armor, so he's very easily able to just ignore the turret for several shots.
Ninja Tabby and a finished Frozen Heart. Yeah, a lot of armor is a bit of an understatement. Armor stacking. Working out for him.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
the contest, or the pick we thought would be contested, Jimoxari, has honestly felt a little underwhelming this game.
it's definitely not working out as well as they want it to. Arclight Vayne is staying very safe in lane, doing quite well to farm it up.
And you know what I'm even more surprised by? The fact that after One Punch Man and Can't Find Nemo had that really good 2v2, they weren't able to do anything else to capitalize off that. They've got like maybe a 7 CS lead, and that's really it. I'm really surprised that the lane didn't fall any further in favor of Jinx and Braum. I've got to give some credit to Meeps and Reflexes for holding their own down there, even after giving up a double.
Absolutely. We're seeing that Meeps is definitely pretty competent as a player, especially with that crazy flash earlier.
Yeah, that was good. That's a highlight.
I'm definitely looking forward to see if we can see some more play like that from him. Although we may or may not have the opportunity to see that.
We got requests to have guest casters on the mic for this game. Oh, that is a combo right there to Meeps and Muglins. They're looking for some revenge for the way he made a fool out of him earlier on, but they may not find it, and in fact, Monkey goes down. Now the curtain call comes out. Can't find Nemo, desperately wants One Punch Man to body block for him, but One Punch Man ain't having none of that. Getting into the bush.
He's like, nah, not interested.
Forced to die. Oh, no.
And poor Nemo could not find any kind of fish there.
That is so sad. Jinx could have taken a shot. Braum didn't have to die. Jamoke's here though, and Jamoke might not be here for very much longer. Oh, just about gets out with his life, but that wasn't really what he was hoping to happen.
He's changed his mind about being there.
Oh man, that was a pretty hype dive though. I enjoyed that, and it was turned around so well by the Frostbearers?
Team Frostborn. Frostborn.
Frostborn. Why am I getting their name mixed up every time? Why is this so hard for me? It's just it's Dragonborn but cold instead. I'll remember it that way.
Alrighty, that should work.
In my twisted mind, that makes some sense. Some corridor of the back corners of my brain. But they've turned this game on its head since like the first 8 minutes or so. They were 4-0 down, and now they've gotten 11 kills while the free agents have gotten 1. That is an insane ratio.
Absolutely. Gold Dot working on a Sunfire Cape now. That'll give him some wave clear. And Trevor Strong is going for Trinity Force first.
Interesting.
Certainly can work on Trundle because of how his kit is, but usually we see like Titanic Hydra first, so it's a little unusual.
Yeah, and it looks like he's trying to play his carry style top laner, even when not really on a champion that's designed for that sort of play style. It may come back to bite him, as now Gold Dot is not so easy to bully around. Yes, he's at a CS disadvantage, but he's Malphite, so what does that matter?
He's like, CS, I don't really care. That's fine.
Just give me enough gold to buy a tanky item, and then I'll be okay. Oh, Mush Monkey's gonna get caught out. A beautiful binding from the Jhin. And the snipe as well from Arclight Vayne. A double kill now for the Lux. We'll see if Jamoke can clean him up. He is just desperately going for this solo kill. The Foxfire comes in for the shutdown. And Jamoke just walks away from the fight on the backside as nobody chasing this Ahri. Captain Falcon really wants to kill the Jinx. He can at least accomplish that. But now we return to the wild goose chase. The wild fox chase, I guess, would be a better way to put it. I wish I had thought of that first.
Ooh.
No, he didn't have the execute in time.
Well, that is unfortunate.
Killed him before he could buy enough time to execute. No, that's so depressing.
That's just sad. And with that, that is going to put Team Frostborn at an even even larger lead here. It's only 5K gold, but 15-6 is pretty intimidating.
Frostborn have done a great job of regaining control of this game. I've got to say, I'm
Absolutely.
honestly quite impressed at how well in hand they have it now. And you know, this might be the reason why we don't see a lot of free agent teams make it to this point in the tournament, because this sort of controlled play style, this sort of like player based rather than simply champion based synergy, is not something you see too terribly often on a free agent team. And like understandably so, they were just put together for this tournament. That's what free agent tag means for those of you perhaps unaware. We don't see a lot of Reverie. We've got teams that sign up, and then we've got players that sign up that just want to play but don't necessarily have a team. They don't get a free agent teams. Jimbook almost getting caught out there, but he managed to Spirit Rush to safety. There's the turnaround, the Braum ulti landing, but Arclight Vayne, he's going to turn around some damage of his own, and one punch mid getting hit by the Nami ulti means he is fish food for Captain Falcon. Reflex is getting dope, but there's not nearly as much to throw his way as there was to throw the back line of free agent team's way. And this may very well be an ace here. Final bullet doesn't quite have the range, and Trevor Strong is going to trundle his way out of there.
Absolutely. That was nice and close, but not a close fight at all. That was. We saw a free agent team wanted to get an engagement there, but the Arclight Vayne Lux ultimate just came through and managed to snipe out Jamak when he escaped death the first time.
Now that's a weird sentence. The Arclight Vayne Lux ultimate. It doesn't quite sound right.
It doesn't sound right at all.
For some reason. So it always just bugs me when a player has a name of like a skin or a champion or something.
And then they play
this
something that
guy-
isn't that. Ooh.
Wow, Captain Falcon. Maybe ban Kazakh's next game. Maybe ban Kazakh's next game.
We're seeing the power of that isolation plus armor penetration.
Wow. I mean, he had a pretty good early game. 1v1 to Sin once, but he's just being able to translate that into some absolutely insane damage. Reflexes doesn't care about turns fair. And they don't care about enemy teams either, but Alice Flunkin comes through, and they absolutely flunk that one. Free agent team is not exactly looking on track to win the finals. Making it to semifinals was a record. Free agent team never made it that far, but if games continue along this sort of pattern, semifinals may be the last stop for them. But we've still got the rest of the best three to go, and in fact, the rest of this game I don't want to count them out too early.
Maybe a miracle will happen and they'll make a recovery. Maybe nothing as extravagant as, say, a meteor strike, but
Always effect. Oh, always with the meteor strike. You just gotta bring it up every time.
I have a dream that one
do you,
day.
Do you work for some sort of astronomical board
Oh,
that
I
I don't know
wish.
about? Like, I'm really curious.
The board of wanting a game to be stopped because of somebody's house was struck by a meteor.
Ah, Captain Falcon does so very much damage. He did get kicked under the turret. He's nearly dead. The snipe doesn't land, though. He gets some held back off the short range W. There's the snare. Captive audience going to be holding up Trevor Strong. He can't continue this chase. He has to turn back around, but maybe it's already too late. Baby, it is already too late. Captain Falcon turns around for the double kill. Legendary. Well deserved for that fan bug monstrosity.
And he is
That was a fight
currently
and a half.
absolutely. He's 12-2 now, with all that armor penetration. He's doing so much damage, but he owes his team for keeping him alive there.
Oh, that was some coordination right there. Something you don't often see at this level in the amateur scene, but it was nice to see for sure. The inhibitor turret going to go down on the bottom side. The inhibitor soon to follow. Top lane's inhibitor already no longer with us, and mid lane looks next to fall. And this is disaster for the free agent team.
Absolutely. We're seeing Frostborn just taking it nice and slow. They're not trying to push or rush anything. They're guaranteeing that there's no opportunity for a comeback here.
And one point I gotta make is maybe I said that Lee Sin seemed like the kind of playstyle that Mush Monkey would excel at, but maybe I was incorrect there, or maybe it's just Lee Sin as a whole that he's not too terribly experienced on. There's something that doesn't seem to be clicking for this guy, as he's not performing too hot this game. His early attempts at invades kind of backfired on him, and now he's sitting at the rather depressing scoreline of 0-8. Not really having much of an impact in these later game teamfights either.
Oh, and there's Captain Falcon taking that blue buff for himself, having that Drakthar blade. He's going to do even more damage.
And be a threat to the tankies members of the enemy team as well, as Duskblade Drakthar does do percentage chunk damage on its pop. Not that there's that much tankiness to begin with, as Trevor Strong did go for the Trinity Force first and is only now building into tank items.
Oh. Mush Monkey trying to land a Q, but I don't think he would have actually gone in on it.
Man, that is some crazy damage from the Jin now as well. As bullets are flying out, Jamook gonna get the brunt of that assault as Arclight Vane brings down the Lee Sin, and they're just an unassailable siege line now. Jamook is the one being flashed on by the Jin. This is a hard reversal of the usual situation.
Jamook saying, "That's not how this is supposed to work. I'm supposed to flash
Not
on
at
you."
all. And that's gonna be the end of the game here.
That is certainly going to be game one, going to Team Frostborn. Despite a little bit falling behind in the early game, they made a huge recovery. Just completely reversed the game on its head.
4 out of the 6 kills that the free agents got, they got within the first 6 minutes. The rest of the game, they were just shut out of everything. There was not a single opportunity that they found that they could capitalize on correctly. And if we see that clean of a game from Frostborn next time around, I don't think it matters whether or not they make an early misstep here or there. They could have this thing cinched.
Absolutely. We even saw with the top lane, Trundles, as Trevor Strong had a huge CS lead, but it didn't matter because it's Malphite.
Malphite don't care.
Malphite
don't care
doing
about
Malphite
CS.
things.
He's just gonna press R anyways.
Yes.
You know, you can't deny him that. But give us just a few moments, folks, to get into the next match. We do have a best of 3 in our hands here, so we've got at least one more match to show y'all, and we should be back in just a few minutes.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. As soon as we're in Champions Select, we'll be right back. And we're back, nice and quick. Didn't take too long at all.
We are back indeed. And
So,
my name is Octavian. This is Effect. Just for you guys, we'll get through that pretty quick because
so
I really want to get into the picks and bans. I really want to get into the gameplay here.
and they're indeed not going to deal with Captain Falcon anymore. None of that nonsense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Honestly, Captain Falcon, I mean, the first 10 minutes of the game, you wouldn't think that he was going to, like, absolutely destroy that match. And then suddenly, he was just finding opportunities left and right, leaping around all over the place, playing Kazakhs exactly how he's meant to be played.
You're just devouring poor souls.
No, I think that's Thresh.
Well, okay, fine. Kazakhs was just devouring them whole.
Yes, that works. That works. Rengar taken out of the picture as well, so a lot of respect now for Captain Falcon. Last time around, there was a lot of respect for reflexes. Or perhaps Arclight Vayne if they swap around AD carry, I don't know. As Gangplank and Kennen were both on the ban list last time for the Frostbearers?
Frostborn. You'll get it eventually.
Frostborn.
I have faith.
I will. I will. Promise. One time tonight, I'm going to say it correctly without having to be corrected. I seriously don't know what's getting me in such a tizzy about this name. I've had so many teams. I've been doing this stuff for 3 years now. I've had so many crazy team names, much crazier than this one. For some reason, Frostborn is not. I really want to call them Frostbearers. I don't know why.
It is a little weird to say, but I can't figure out why.
No, you're just humoring me now. It's just
No.
because I'm crazy.
Well, you are a little crazy, yes, but. Oh,
All right,
and they're
Jinx
gonna.
taken out of the picture for One Punch Mid, and Lux taken away from Arclight Vayne. Good. I like that they respect the Lux pick. They didn't respect it enough in game.
So it's definitely been interesting to see what is picked here because obviously Captain Falcon has been locked out of 2 jungle picks, and now Arclight Vayne, of course, cannot play the Lux. That does open up those AD carries we saw in the previous game, though, that were banned out.
Could be an Ari first pick.
Jamak struggled a little bit, though, on the Ari in that last game.
Could be Zach first pick that was banned out last time around. The junglers seemed, yeah, there it is. I wouldn't be surprised at that, and it will be a Zach first pick for Mush Monkey. He did just fine on that the first game we saw him tonight, and it was banned out last game, so makes sense.
Definitely did not have quite the game he would have wanted on the Lee Sin. And there's Captain Falcon going to another bug pick, possibly.
And I would just like to mention to anybody in chat who's interested in casting and getting into this sort of thing, it is a ton of fun, first off, so I would suggest it heavily. I think Effect can agree with me on that one. I don't know,
Absolutely.
maybe you hate every weekend casting with me. I can't speak to Reverie specifically. I don't know how their process works for bringing extra casters on board, but I certainly would be more than happy to help you guys out. And I don't know, maybe if I could join in as well, we could have a nice 3-way going, but not in that way. In the shoutcasting about video games.
In a clean way, not a dirty
Very
way.
clean. Yes.
Get your minds out of the gutter, guys.
Keep it above board. But let's get back to the picks and bans here. It's a Yasuo and an Ahri, so that's about as much damage as they're going to need.
That's most certainly going to be a top lane Yasuo.
Yep. And Captain Falcon will be picking up the Elise jungle, so we'll see how he performs on that. He was definitely an all-star last time around, so I'm interested to see him now on a different insect, arachnid, I guess.
Kazakhs really isn't an arachnid, but they're bugs. So
Well, yes. Kazakhs was the insect. Elise is the arachnid, I believe. Is that a Vayne and an Ezreal?
that is a Vayne and an Ezreal, but they're gonna go with the Braum and the
I
Ezreal.
want to see the Vayne mid lane from Arclight Vayne, no less. I would love to see that. It would be really, really brave against Inari, though.
Would be
And it's just really brave in general.
just a little bit.
It is a Ezreal, though, picked alongside the Braum. It's a pretty dang good combo, since Ezreal has something of a soft auto attack reset in the form of his Q, so you can stack up concussive blows decently fast. We didn't really mention the Poppy pick, though. Gold dot on another tank with some hard CC. Disengage rather than engage this time.
Probably a
Interesting.
little higher damage output than the Malphite, but of course the engage is a little bit different. How it works out.
And I'd say a little bit harder to pilot than Malphite as well. Not too particularly difficult, but a little bit harder. You have to do a little more than just press R in the general area of opponents, and then press your other buttons.
Absolutely. One Punch Man gonna hover on the Ashe. We did see a lot of Ashe played, and of course, as I say that, he's gonna go back to Caitlyn that he played in the first round.
For the first rule, never talk about hovers.
That is true.
The
And it
first
is.
rule of Casting Club: you don't talk about hovers.
And I can't find Nemo gonna be playing Tom Kench. So we did see them play Tom Kench top lane last time. So this is a little bit different.
Yeah, I really doubt they're gonna swap the Tom
Actually,
Kench in the Yasuo.
I'm wrong. Their opponents played Tom Kench top lane. Trevor Strong played
Mm,
Gangplank.
that's true. There was a Tom Kench top though. It was a Tom Kench lane, and that was interesting.
Very much so.
Um, we'll see what the final pick here is, though. This will be the mid lane pick going up against Jamuk's Ari, unless something really weird happens.
Unless it's the Ezreal middle. Maybe we're just not looking at that.
Maybe it's a throwback to like the 2 weeks after she was released, and it'll be an Elise middle. Back
Maybe.
when her Spiderling had like a 1.1 AP ratio,
Oh God.
it was basically a homing like nuke. Those were the days.
Just.
Back in those days, Kazakhs had like the ability to clear a whole wave with 1W
Oh
as well.
God.
There's some pretty fun mid lane picks.
Procking
Anyways,
is
it will
passive
be
with a
Malzahar.
W. It is indeed a Malzahar. That does give them some lockdown, especially with some really mobile damage dealers in their solo lanes.
I really love the Yasuo. Pardon me, not the Yasuo. The Malzahar passive against both a Yasuo and an Ari, since both of them sort of need to land something to start their combo. Like Yasuo needs to have a knock-up land, Ari needs to have the charm land. It's going to be really, really useful to have that sort of semi-Banshee's Veil every however long, depends on level.
Absolutely. We're gonna have to see. Frostborn probably needs to be a little bit careful here. If Mush Monkey gets a really good elastic slingshot into their team, that could be really dangerous with the Yasuo. Could
Mm-hmm.
lock them up for a really long time. While Jamak and One Punch Man are just wailing on them.
The flip side of that, though, is even though they have a really good Wombo and a decent combo between the top and the jungle here, it's all reliant on that. It's sort of the stumbling block of Zach's kit in general, but expanded to the whole team, where if Elastic Slingshot doesn't hit, they're kind of screwed. So they have to land that, and they've got a really good counter in the form of the Poppy. Steadfast Presence is so damn good against Zach.
That is true. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking they didn't have like an Alistair or something to cancel it, but I just
Oh,
never even think about it. Steadfast
Steadfast Presence,
Presence is just
so
as good.
strong. That and even Malzahar potentially. He can just turn around and press R in the Zac and then run away. It's a really edge case, but it's a point and click CC. It's the sort of thing that you can use to interrupt that.
It's definitely possible. We saw it last game with Vault on Quinn. Not the last game, but the game before that.
Yeah, I learned a thing or two about the Quinn v Zac matchup. Something I hadn't seen too often. But we do have a few minutes of the spectator delay to get through. We've got some interesting picks once again between these two teams.
So on that note, we are going to take a small, tiny commercial break. So don't go anywhere, guys. Once we're in game, we'll be back. And we're back! That was actually a really short loading time.
The best of loading times.
Absolutely.
My favorite ones are the short ones. All right, we'll see what the level 1 strategy is again. There was a little bit of an interesting one from Frostborn last time. Got it right! Got that name. From Frostborn last time, where they predicted an aggressive invade and sat in a bush. They might be going a little bit more aggressive themselves now, though. Running down mid.
Ooh,
But
this is super aggressive.
they've got the Braum this time around. They've got potentially at least Cocoon, though that's really, really brave to start that.
It definitely needs some assistance if you did start the Cocoon.
Oh, Jamook. They don't have any vision on him, though, so they're not going to throw anything his way. And they've got potentially Poppy's Wall Slam. A little bit less brave to start that, but still kind of painful to lane with.
Checking the bush with the Q. They're going to run into a ward, and they're spotted out.
And immediately pings everywhere. They're going to get some deep vision, though, for their efforts. Oh my god, that basing animation is the best!
That's pretty amazing.
I just went full kawaii. Poppy's amazing. Oh man, no, I am a little bit angry that they made Poppy into more of like a standard cutesy kawaii champ. I miss old lady Poppy. I miss grumpy grandmother on the battlefield with a hammer. You remember her old voice lines like "joke"? I don't know a joke. Like now she's just this like wide-eyed, naive little freaking tiny yordle with no personality aside from cute, and has hammer. Like I miss grumpy lady. This is more personality than a lot of the other characters in this game had. But that's my own personal gripe aside. Let's get to the laning phase, shall we?
Absolutely. I'm definitely interested to see how this top lane match goes off. And One Punch Man, of course, is back on the Caitlyn. It's a little different.
I like the Poppy pick in general, actually, here. Not only is it good against the Zac, but it's also quite good against Yasuo, stopping his sweeping blade pretty reliably. And the percentage damage is going to chunk him down pretty well. Doesn't really have anything that's stopped by Wind Wall either, aside from the enhanced auto attack, I suppose. That's not exactly the bread and butter of her kit, just a nice little bonus.
Absolutely. Let's see. Game's kind of slow at the moment. Nothing too crazy going on.
See if it plays true to last game's form, where Frostborn faltered a bit in the laning phase and then just never faltered again.
So after their initial little hiccups there, they just took the reins and said, "Mine. You cannot have."
They turned on the serious switch. They flipped it. And things got very, very serious.
It's like, there's no way we can lose to a free agent team. That would be embarrassing.
I mean, it's honestly impressive that a free agent team has made it this far into the series, and they're still not out of it. This is a best of 3 here between these two teams, and there's still very real potential for them to come back. We are only into Game 2. Game 1 having gone to Frostborn for those just joining us.
Absolutely. If they can get the lead they had last time and then keep it, they have a very real shot of making a comeback here.
And One Punch Mid is once again on a good laning bully. Again, as you said, back onto the Caitlyn. And up against a Braum Ezreal, no less. That's kind of a free lane, I'd say. And One Punch Mid can't generate a CS lead here. I'd be a little worried for him.
Absolutely. Oh, Gold Dot and Trevor are going at it, though.
Yeah, Goldot doesn't quite land the wall slam, but he's still going to put Trevor Strong inside of a cage as Captain Falcon is coming up top lane, and the reason for Goldot's aggression is revealed. Trevor Strong has to flash.
Oh, the Cocoon just barely missing. Trevor flashing over it. Or flashing over the location where it would have hit him.
It was traded at the very least for Captain Falcon's flash, so it's not a complete waste of the summoner. And it was a good usage, too. Kept him alive for sure.
Absolutely.
So he's going to head back home to base, pick up, it looks like a cult as his item of choice, and just try and scale up in this lane, I suppose.
Absolutely. We're probably very likely going to see the typical Yasuo Bruiser build.
Yeah. The once very spicy and interesting, but now rather standard Frozen Mallet and Phantom Dancer combination.
It does make him a huge threat.
And deceptively tanky as well. The tanky cannons are better than the glass cannons. Why be a glass cannon when you can just be a regular cannon?
Because it's hilarious to see someone explode when you're a glass cannon.
Yes, but
Nope.
you don't play for hilarity. Oh man, Trevor Strong, he doesn't have the flash, and Captain Falcon is there to take advantage of it. The red buff is burning. A few more spiderlings bite him on the feet, and that's got to itch for at least a few weeks. I hate spider bites. And I imagine Trevor Strong might be saying the same thing right now. If he's got the same sort of strange and convoluted track of mind.
Absolutely. That's poor Trevor Strong, though, getting kind of abused there. Using that teleport, getting back to lane, and then dying very shortly after. Without any vision. A little bit greedy play.
And we return once more to the bottom lane, where things are very auto-attack heavy, I guess? I don't know. Not really much going on down here.
It's definitely very
Punishment farming,
slow.
Reflexes farming. And 2 melee supports, neither one of which too willing to go in on the other.
They're just glaring at each other and occasionally throwing things at each other.
I'm gonna protect my AD carry if you go aggressive on me. And the same thing said from the other side, and nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, in mid lane, the Malzahar hasn't actually had a chance to back yet, and is kind of feeling the pain of that. Not much mana left in the tank. And Jamuk has shoved him in now. Actually got about a 10 CS lead for himself.
Malzahar's definitely playing it nice and safe, not wanting to... Oh.
Okay, Trevor Strong does have some backup in the form of Mush Monkey. Gold Dot dealt some good damage to him. We'll see if he can finish him off before he goes down, or if he's just going to buy some time and walk in circles. I guess that's also an option. Okay.
The only thing I think of there is he's trying to position to dash.
Yeah, potentially. It did look a little odd, but maybe he was looking for the wall slam and just couldn't find the right angle. When you see a dog go lie down in a bed, they just spin around in little circles for a little while. You don't understand why, but then your dog dies, and it's really depressing.
Oh, that's just...
Okay, that took a dark turn.
That was very dark.
That was. I'm very sorry about that. It's kind of funny though.
You're gonna make people in the stream cry.
It's a little funny.
Hello.
The flash in from Meeps and Booglets. We have action in the bottom lane. I know, I can't believe it either. The cocoon landing from Captain Falcon, and he sinks his fangs into yet another kill.
Well, I can't find Nemo has been found himself. That is going to be another kill going over to the side of Team Frostborn.
Frostborn, well, last time around they were 4-0 down at this point, and now 2-1 is a much better scoreline, and they did just fine last game. So Gold Dot going in for the 1v1 with Trevor Strong, and showing us that Poppy does indeed do pretty darn well against the lane Yasuo.
He does have that Bammy Cinder working towards that Sunfire Cape, so it is going to give him a little bit of wave clear.
Oh, that was nice from Meeps and Muglets. He blocked out the cannon minion.
I did see that. No cannon minion for you. One punch mid.
It's definitely worth a cooldown if you're not going to fight anytime soon, and they're going back to base right now. So may as well deny that 50 gold to flash in from Arclight Vayne. There's the point and click CC. Jamuk has just about enough time actually to get out of there. Looks like he'll be okay.
And he's able to get out without using his flash.
Yeah, there just wasn't enough damage somehow. I guess Arclight Vayne just isn't doing enough yet. Maybe didn't have enough minions out. And Captain Falcon wasn't able to provide the damage either, so Jamuk gets out, but there's the flash in! Ooh, the cocoon didn't land, but the charm did. Captain Falcon may be regretting his aggressive use of that summoner spell to get in here. He comes down from the rappel. Arclight Vayne is there to try and back him up, but he may have just sacrificed himself to the enemy team as well. Let's Bounce is gonna let's crush him. That doesn't make any sense. It's a double kill for the Zac.
Squish him. It's going to squish him.
Yes, it will, I suppose. Hey.
Because Zac is squishy.
Yes. Yes. Well, no, because he builds tank items. But yes, because he's made out of
goo.
Blobs of stuff.
He's a goo.
That's the technical term. Blobs of stuff. I'm sure that's in the Riot I was about to say obituary. Zac isn't dead. Bio. That's the word I'm looking for.
That's the word you're looking for. But oh.
The obituary is the opposite of a bio. There's the counter right there from Poppy. Mush Monkey went for the gank, and well, Gold Dot pressed a button.
And Colt's like, no.
Pretty dang solid button pressing right there. As can't find Nemo presses a good button himself. Oh, one punch man just spat right into the path of a Q.
One punch move
actually does land the ulti, but the heal's going to keep the AD carry alive. Reflexes is now going to get body blocked for. Can't find Nemo has the gray health for a few moments, but that's going to pop away. Oh, Reflexes not landing a Q. Actually, that time.
They're playing a dangerous game here.
And it's not because of the passive. And looks like nobody will quite go down, but Reflexes is still hunting. Or not. He found a turret.
He's positioning himself to make sure that...
Hold the flash. Okay, flash plays don't seem to be working out for Team Frostborn here as Reflexes nearly goes down to the minions. Jamoka's going to get silenced off as Arclight Vayne is going for some counter jungle play.
This has definitely been a little cluster here.
And we return once more to quiet on the Rift. So many people so close to death. Nobody quite going there.
No. Gold Dot dodging out on the tornado there.
Why is Yasuo never locked out of his house?
Why is that?
Because he always has a key.
Uh,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I like it.
I can't say I thought of that one myself. I honestly don't remember where I heard it, but
Thief!
I'm just trying to share the love here, share the laughs. Don't to make me so sad. Oh man. Anyways, Mush Monkey now clearing out his bottom side of the jungle, and we do indeed return to quiet on the Rift. Well, the next fight really could break out anywhere. We've had action all over the place, even though we haven't had very many kills yet.
So far, that was very slightly the 2 free agent team number 2, but that may mean nothing as we saw in the last game.
Yeah, indeed. These early leads, as demonstrated by last game, don't necessarily mean very much in the long term. It's just a matter of getting to the long term. And honestly, I think both teams would do just fine in the late game. Yasuo, of course, scales incredibly well, and they've got some enablers for him. Speaking of Yasuo, Gold Dot and Trevor Strong are once again going mano-a-mano. Gold Dot gets a bit of movement speed off of his W. He's going to toss Trevor Strong back away from the fight. Doesn't want any more of that. And I suppose that is one of the strengths of Poppy. You can just pretty much always opt out.
Oh.
Whoa,
Oh.
flash in from Meeps and Muglets. There's the ulti. Can't find Nemo. Takes a big old bite out of his AD carry and protects him from any further damage, nullifying that threat.
Absolutely. We're seeing some CS differences here, both in the mid lane and the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, Arclight Vayne had a really great game last time on Lux, so to see him this far behind is a little bit surprising. Maybe the Lux ban is enough to just keep the guy down.
Could be one of
Could
those
be a little
poor,
bit limited in his champ pool.
unfortunate one-trick ponies.
Well, I was trying to avoid the phrase because it does feel a little insulting.
It is a little bit,
I
but
suppose limited in champ pool means just about the same thing.
pretty much. To be fair, I'm also, when I was playing frequently, I was just a one-trick pony as well, so.
Yeah. Aatrox?
Aatrox.
all the way? Oh, yeah. Aatrox mains. I have Mastery 7 on that guy.
If I
I don't like myself, is pretty much the main reason.
well, it is a champion of self-hatred.
Elise's bottom lane once again, coming up through the lane.
There is a Pinkwood there,
top
so they
of-
do not know she's there, I don't think.
We'll see whether or not One Punch Mid and Can't Find Nemo spot her out. Oh, One Punch Mid walks into the wrong neighborhood. Reflexes immediately brings him down after Cocoon lands. And Can't Find Nemo can do nothing but waddle out. Mush Monkey is here, but he's not here for very long. That was a nice clean kill.
Absolutely. And Trevor Strong has that Phantom Dancer now, but Goldot almost has Sunfire Cape. He's getting real close.
And even without an item completed, he's still a match for Trevor Strong. I think Poppy's going to do just fine moving forward in this, but the whole point of the Yasuo pick is in teamfights to be diving the backline and kind of avoiding the Poppy and killing her team instead. So it's okay for Trevor Strong that he's coming out about even in these 1v1s, but he's going to be hopping into the ult. That does give him some armor penetration. That'll be pretty valuable here. But Gold Dot doesn't really seem to care, getting some good damage off himself. His grabs the Undying proc, dodges actually away from that slash, and he'll come out on top.
So Trevor Strong not quite strong enough to take Goldot yet.
Yeah, and without Last Breath, he really can't fight him anymore. 50% armor penetration off of the ulti, and even with that, he really wasn't doing much damage.
Using the wind wall for the one ability he can block.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I would normally say like it's a waste to just block a little bit of poke, but in this matchup, that's its only use, so it's really not a waste. It's just kind of a wasted ability overall, sadly.
Yep. He's like he's going to be able to see us under this turret just fine.
He's dashing in on the Gold Dot again. This time he does have the minion wave advantage, and Gold Dot's going to back out of there. And there is one advantage that Trevor Strong has in this matchup. Gold Dot will eventually run out of mana, and on Yasuo, he really doesn't have that problem.
He cheats. He doesn't have mana.
I don't know if Riot would technically call that cheating. Maybe we should stop the tournament. go back into picks and bans. You know, ban all the champions with no mana. Can't play Riven, Yasuo, Kled, right? The new champ.
I believe that is correct.
He does. I honestly don't know. I haven't seen him yet, ever. Captain Falcon murders Trevor Strong. Turns into Trevor weak as Gold Dot flashes away with just about 100 hit points left. He's coming back into the fight. Maybe that wasn't the wisest of choices. Captain Falcon may yet get revenge for his fallen top laner, though. Volatile Spiderling explodes next to his cell, divided. And while together they were strong, divided they indeed fall.
That is going to be
can't find Nemo. Can maybe find himself a kill, but the heal gets Meeps and Mooglets out of danger's way. Oh, man, the Ezreal ult, but it doesn't land.
That was close.
I got really excited for no reason.
Still, though, that's going to be tough for that top lane. Captain Falcon making a recovery, finishing off the poor Mush Monkey. Spider eating her prey.
This is likely going to be first brick here. As Reflexes and Meeps and Mooglets will claim that extra gold for their team. Even letting the turret kill off a few more minions before they do.
That's actually 2 turrets going down. The top lane turret going down first.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to give a nice chunk of gold over to Team Frostborn.
Arclight Vayne continuing to shove mid. Doesn't have a CS lead, though, which is a little bit strange on the Malzahar pick. I don't know particularly how well it does against Ahri. It's not a matchup I've seen in a long time. But I do think that Malzahar would be okay in it, because mainly of his passive. But often when you see Malzahar shove hard like this, comes out on top, he manages to avoid the knockup because of that Void passive, but it looks like he'll be going down nonetheless, as Jimuk is there with the damage.
Absolutely. That's going to very, very easily let them pick up a kill there. But now on the top side, we do see Trevor Strong no longer has a turret to defend himself. He's working on that frozen mallet.
Speaking of item spikes, the Reflexes has just hit a big one with the Trinity Force completion. It's gone tier as well, so he's going this sort of half and half build here. Often you'll see either the blue build Ezreal with the Iceborne Gauntlet and Tear the Goddess build, or you'll see the aggressive Ezreal with a build like a normal AD carry, but like Trinity Force as well, and some other synergistic items. But he's opted for a bluish build.
2.5.
Yeah, light blue Ezreal.
That'll work.
Aquamarine Ezreal.
Now, of course, the Trinity Force is going to give him some more damage than the Iceborne would. Though he does lose some of the utility.
Oh, Can't Find Nemo gets caught out here, but he does have a lot more teammates coming to help him than the opposition does coming to help them. Meeps and Mooglets is dropping the exhaust in one punch mid, who has to flash away, but Arclight Vayne is just waiting right around the corner for him. Just a press of an E and a click of an auto attack button, and he goes down. Captain Falcon's on a killing spree as well as the Ahri falls. You Can't Find Nemo, the fish that started it all, will go down for the double. We'll see if Reflexes can hunt down this kill as well.
It's a good chance he'll be able to, and there it is.
The auto, we'll say he autoed there and didn't queue.
And that is a 4 for nothing, and a dragon basically going over to the side of Team Frostborn. That is going to put them in a nice firm lead.
And it's just such a clean fight as well from Frostborn. Like, we're the first team fight of the game, we're already seeing them like play in a very, very coordinated fashion, collapsing in onto that fight. For the most part, landing their CC and skill shots. We'll ignore that last Q at the end. It's followed up by an auto nonetheless.
Absolutely. They really wanted that fight there, but Arclight Vayne came from the side and just said, "Hi, I'm here to melt your carries." And melt them he did.
And I mean, he kind of got a kill handed to him on a silver platter at the start of that fight.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was a flashless, healthless AD carry walking into a bush literally in front of him. It's about the easiest possible kill you can get on a Malzahar right there.
Throw some space aids on them and walk over to the next character.
That's exactly what he did too. I got to give some small amount of credit to him for not like burning anything important on that. You know, realizing the kill is had, there's no reason to spend any time with that aside from just depressing.
And then he was able to lock down Jamak. That basically gave them the fight completely.
And there's the man immune completed for Reflexes, so Ezreal has officially made it through the early game. That is usually his cross to bear. But right now it's looking like he's bearing it pretty darn well. He's out of it 3-0-2.
Pretty much there's a huge difference there. He has a CS lead on top of One Punch Mid, who hasn't finished an item yet.
Is Jimuk looking for something here? This could be a little bit dangerous for him. Fish Monkey's coming into the fight. The wall's going to block him out. All right, plans to knock up onto Meeps and Muglets. There's the flash in, though. He's looking for some bouncy time. Arclight Vane's going to get bursted out, and Jamook finds himself the kill that he was looking for this whole time. Captain Falcon will be shut down as well. That's really good for the free agents.
Absolutely. Those are two very good kills. Ooh,
We'll see if it continues. Reflexes does some amazing damage right now, though. Those items are working hard for him. We'll see if he can survive through this. Bush Monkey just needs one more auto or a W. Unstable indeed. As Zach manages to get the kill, but Gold Dot and Meeps and Muglets are not letting them get away that easily. The hammer's going to knock Can't Find Nemo up into the air and hold him in place just long enough for them to bring him down. Bush Monkey avoids the winner's bite, but they're so close. I don't think he's getting out of this. The flash from Gold Dot, but the stun doesn't connect against the wall, but the stretching strike gets canceled, and they don't want to chase anymore.
Yeah, one punch mid there is to discourage any chasing.
Trevor Strong's coming down from top 2, to be fair, so
Absolutely.
I think it was the right call to back off, even if it looked kind of anticlimactic.
Well, good on Nemo to save Mush Monkey's life, though, at the cost of his own, doing support things. Still, though, that is still a big lead to Frostborn. Although, free agent team making a nice recovery with the 2 picks there.
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1, I believe. Reflexes picked up 1 on the back side of it, but there really was no way to prevent that. Reflex is just doing so much damage right now. Any fight that he's in is going to be highly volatile.
Absolutely. Jamock not quite respecting that damage output from Reflexes there.
And he's even got more, like, waiting for him in the wings. He's got a cold that's just about to finish. He's out farming the Caitlyn now. I remember saying in the early game that if One Punch Mid can't make a CS lead happen, then I'd be a little worried for his Caitlyn pick, and he wasn't able to, so props to Reflexes for coming out of a lane that, on paper, he should never have won.
Well, we do see a completed item out of One Punch Man now. He has that Hurricane. And we're seeing a Baron at 22 minutes.
Aggressive. That is aggressive as hell, but they don't have any vision on this. There's a missing ping on the Baron pit. They suspect that it may be going down, but those suspicions are coming way too late. And Malzahar's minions are tanking that thing for them. They didn't even take any damage. There were Spiderlings and Voidlings that were doing all the tanking of the Baron for them. That is so cool. Now they're coming in onto Jamook and Can't Find Nemo, potentially Mush Monkey as well. They're just looking for anybody they can catch out here. The Cocoon finds the fish. Mush Monkey's going to get canceled out of his Elastic Slingshot. Let's Bounce, still bouncing even through the Malzahar ulti. A little bit of an interesting interaction there. But the Cell Division will pop, and he will fall soon after.
And that is going to extend the lead they already had by a pretty significant margin.
That's why you need constant vision on the Baron after, like, when Baron shows up 20 minutes.
Yeah, they opted to not check out Baron. They went for the turret instead. I don't think they realized how fast that Baron was going to die.
They have such a cool team for taking it, too. Look at that army of minions they can spawn. It doesn't matter that they have a little bit of a lower damage AD carry in the form of Ezreal. They can still bring the Baron down really quickly. They've got some percentage damage from the Poppy. Consistent damage, of course, from Malzahar. Percentage damage on the Elise, and then minions to tank it for them. They can just generate an army. That is really cool.
It's really well played by them. It was a calculated risk that ended up really paying out.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like part of the game plan, drafting this composition, or if it was something of a happy accident, but one way or another, they took advantage of it quite well.
Ooh, that's a good repel by...
See if Goldot can make this fight happen, or if he even wants to make the fight happen at this point. He's walking up pretty aggressively, interrupts Mush Monkey with his jump. He's got to be getting tired of that at this point. Leaves in Muglets on the front line. Buying time for Reflexes to show up to the fight. Malzahar isn't here, though, so this would be a 4v5.
And Mush Monkey definitely not having the best time of his life with those engages.
Yeah, it's turning into such a harsh counter pick for him. And they first picked the Zac, too. And I don't know, I feel like Frostborn might have known that was coming through. Because it was moderately predictable. I said it was going to be like either the Zac or maybe an Elise or Graves or something. I think Graves is actually banned out, so they had the counter pick in their back pocket for that Zac first pick. So you can tell that Frostborn came into this game potentially with a game plan even from picks and bans.
See Nemo taking some damage there from the Space Aids.
And the Voidlings as well. Who just won't let up on this guy.
He's like, leave me alone!
And in the meantime, Dragon is dying.
Well, Trevor Strong has that frozen mount, and he's had it for a little bit. I have to see if he can make use of it.
I think Arclight maybe should have ulted Mush Monkey there. I don't know. Jamook would have probably canceled it out of it, but I think they had the drop on him. They had a pretty good fight to take, but stealing the red buff is good. Getting the dragon is good. They can just go and push bottom lane. They don't really need to go for these picks. They can just brute force stuff.
And they got Baron for a few more seconds here, so they're probably going to get this turret pretty easily.
Oh, man.
Ow.
One punch mid nearly going down. The Ezreal ulti does get eaten by the wind wall. Nicely done. Trevor strong. Man, Mushmonkey has really got to be getting tired of that at this point. One punch mid's gone. Arclight Vein melts him after a cocoon lands, but Captain Falcon's going to pay for it with his life. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Can't find Nemo dangerously low, though. And the turret's still getting chunked away at. Whenever reflexes can land an auto. There's the Poppy ult. He doesn't land onto anybody, really. Arclight Veins going to get held up there by the last breath, but he flashes away. Reflexes brings down Trevor Strong. Can't find Nemo, goes down. Ezreal is completely untouched and running rampant with this fight. I mean, yes, Jamuk went off to chase down a kill of his own, but at what cost, man? The Ezreal just destroyed them. Turret goes down. Triple kill. Ace, in fact.
As Frostborn taking 5 in a turret for only 2.
Man, we're getting chance of game 3 from the chat, but it does not look likely.
It's very, very unlikely at this rate. If the free agent team can't make a recovery here, find a way to make a comeback.
Frostborn's gonna go ahead and take down an inhibitor, most likely. Death timers are pretty short, though. They may have to get out of here pretty quick. Time Kansas rushing in. The inhibitor goes down.
But they're going to leave it at 1 health. That's been a little embarrassing.
And Reflexes is now building into a Blade of the Ruined King, looking to chunk through the Tahm Kench and the Zac, and even the moderately tanky Frozen Mallet Yasuo. I think that choice does make a lot of sense.
Ooh, Tornado not quite landing.
As well as giving him an extra peel option against Yasuo and Zac and Tahm Kench when they try and get next to him.
Absolutely.
You get to see the recall animation again.
One Punch Man now has that Infinity Edge, so he's going to be doing some more damage, but he is still behind.
Mushmonkey has been so tilted by his E's never landing that he didn't even hit it on the jungle camp.
It's basically the only... Just completely shuts out his engages, which is very unfortunate. Because
Really
we've seen that happen before, but not with a Poppy, because Poppy we don't see a whole bunch of. We saw the Quinn, we saw in the past we've seen Alistair just completely shut down the Elastic Slingshots. So now we're seeing it on a Poppy, and it's just unfortunate.
Speaking of Poppy, Gold Dot has built a ZZ Rot now. I think he did the same thing last game, or no, that was 2 games ago with the Tahm Kench Town.
Yes.
It wasn't Gold Dot. Yes, the ZZ Rot portal is going to allow him to get some free pressure topside, as that is where he's chosen to drop it. And the top side of the map seems to be where Frostborn wants to exert that pressure now anyways, as they're going for some heavy vision control.
Seeing Mushmonkey kind of chilling in that bush. Not the bush, but the corner there. Ooh, Jamok taking a lot of damage.
Captain Falcon will steal away a blue buff. Mushmonkey may try and prevent this, but he's kind of cut off and alone. Captain Falcon needs to turn around on this. He's got his team coming in from the side. Cocoon lands. That's going to buy enough time for the ghosting Arclight Vein to get in range to drop the ulti onto him. The Space Aids as well. And Cell Division ain't going to be saving anybody today.
And here he goes. He is now down. That is going to let Frostborn very easily push down this turret here.
Yeah. Too much emphasis placed on defending that blue buff from Mushmonkey. He should have just let that go.
Absolutely.
And his team now 4v5 is not going to be able to hold this turret unless there's some sort of miracle.
In the form of a meteor. Ooh, Jamok running right into a cocoon.
And not going to be with us for very much longer, as now Can't Find Nemo is being delivered a good amount of pain. Gold Dot is going to slam the 80 carry against the wall. 1 punch mid. Actually turns around and belts out a few bullets of his own, but it's a quadra kill for the Ezreal.
And that is a ace.
Looking for the Penta? No, the Penta is impossible because Zac isn't alive, but Zac is going to be alive in just a few seconds. They're going to go for it. 1 punch man actually gets the kill. The Gold Dot, the kill credit going to him. Reflexes is down, though. The Penta is impossible. And Mushmonkey gets so many shutdowns.
I mean,
Oh, he wants another.
a good try from them for trying to get the Penta, but they probably could have ended the game there, or at least taken out both inhibitor or Nexus turrets.
They're confident, I think, that they can win this nonetheless, but, you know, that's the sort of confidence that kills. And it might kill Meeps and Mooglets. This is one of the slowest deaths I've ever seen, though. This is just painful.
Death by, goo.
Oh, Mushmonkey started basing. He was disrespecting the Braum. He might not have it. No, he has. Oh man.
That is 2 inhibitors down. Baron is up, but with these inhibitors down, I don't know if they could possibly risk doing it.
We'll see whether or not free agent team can use that momentary glimpse of like like the corner of an opportunity to come back into this game. They're not even allowed a full glimpse of opportunity. They're like glimpsing at opportunities like foot while it's walking away. But it's better than nothing.
I imagine they're going to take whatever they can get right now.
Especially with the amount of power that Reflexes is wielding. He's built into some, I think it's the last whisper he's gone with the armor pen. Or, pardon me, Lord Dominic's regards. No, he's gone Mortal Reminder. Interesting. It's gotten a little bit more popular lately. Still, though.
That is
Getting
that.
Shred through this Baron.
Yeah, Baron is just melting. Nothing that can be done about that.
And 2 Barons at 30 minutes is a pretty good ratio. The Baron every 15 minutes.
Nope.
It's a flash. They're getting to the dragon quicker.
I see that. Like, no time must be wasted.
We have to win this game as quickly as possible. Quickly, flash towards them. Oh, man.
It's a 5-minute ability to move forward
He's
just a
still
few
got time.
inches.
He'll be fine. It was Caitlyn that built the Lord Dominic's regards. I saw it in chat. I figured it was built. But it was Caitlyn, in fact, that built that to try and counteract some of the tankiness on the other team. And the last remaining turret, the last bastion of hope here for free agent. Free agents? The free agents? Team free agent? I really don't know how to refer to this.
Free agent team number 2. Ooh.
It's not going to work.
Much
It's just not going to work.
Very, very unfortunate. He needs to go over or around.
That was a really good jump. Like, stand behind me from Meeps and Muglets. Like, it didn't seem that cool because, like, nobody actually died or anything, but that's because he did his job and he prevented someone from dying. So I've got to give credit to him. There.
Absolutely.
Good reaction time at the prom. It's not going to work. Push Monkey, it is not. I don't think he's got the memo yet. Gold Dot now at the front of the team fight. Jamuk going to be bursted down as Reflexes toss an auto at him. Can't flash away from those. Double kill now for the Ezreal. And maybe we see him get the penta that he so desperately chased before. Mush Monkey's going to die to the Elise, though, as will the Caitlyn. So it's a 2 for 1 and 3 for the other sort of situation. And now we've got the victory going over to Frostborn.
That is most certainly going to be the game. That is the Nexus going down. And congratulations to Team Frostborn for taking the final round of the tournament. 2-0.
Some really clever composition, a good play. I really like that early Baron take. That was pretty cool. And well-deserved victory, I'd say.
Absolutely. So very unfortunate for the free agent team, but congratulations to them for even making it this far. I don't see it very often. Hopefully, maybe one day we can see it again. But that is going to be the end of the tournament, guys. Thanks for watching. Go and take this opportunity to give a quick shout-out to our sponsors. You may have noticed some of the commercials earlier. Commercials, I say, they're just basically a wallpaper with an ad. But we do have Battlefly, which is the service we use to help run our tournaments. They help run our brackets. You can sign up there to join any of our weekly tournaments, or even if you really wanted to sign up for our buy-in tournament at the end of the month. And then we have the Law History app, which is...
The buy-in tournament is cool. You should sign up for that. And the weekly tournaments.
Absolutely. Hopefully we can see some of you guys signing up and playing. It's always nice to see more people showing up. And we do have Law History app, which is basically a summoner lookup tool on your phone, specifically iPhone and Android, and functions just like Law King. So you can find someone out in the real world, and they're like, hey, you played League? What's your summoner name? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're a Shaco, man. I can't be friends with you.
You're too bronze for me.
Pretty much. And last but certainly not least, we have Vibby, which is a website you can use to make highlight reels without downloading additional software. So you go to Vibby.com, you plug in a video, and then you can cut out what you want to create your highlight reel. And it's very simple, very easy to use. It's what we use. So on that note, it is going to be the end of the night. Congratulations once again to Team Frostborn. So don't forget that they can sign up. They need to make sure they check in for the buy-in tournament, because that is their prize for winning this weekly open. And with that, that's going to be the end of the night.
I'm excited to see them come back.
Absolutely.
Some good League of Legends.
A little bit of a hiccup there in the beginning of a couple games, but they made strong recoveries, taking firm control of the game. And that's going to be it, guys. So we'll see you guys next week. Don't go anywhere. Actually, do what you need to do throughout the week. Don't stay at your computer for a
Stay
whole.
right here at the stream. All right, good night, guys.
So that's it, guys. Good night.